Between a rock and a bald spot.
Yeah,
6.
we're rebranding, guys. The big announcement. We're on episode 6. Wait, is it episode 6 or 7? I don't remember.
6.
Anyways, doesn't matter. We're rebranding. We're dropping the between. So from now on, we're just stuck between. Wait, we're dropping the stuck. I said that all fucked up. This kid's stupid. We're dropping the stuck part of the name. So it's just between a bald spot. Wait, what?
He's fucking it all up.
Anyways, just never mind, dude. It's episode 6 of Stuck Between a Rock and a Bald Spot.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. You would think I would rehearse or something before this, but I like to just free ball it, you know?
Yeah, it's better natural. Who needs a script? Not Rock, that's for sure. Have you actually watched the Weapons trailer?
Yeah. No. Should I watch it right now?
You should.
Like
Live
right now?
Right this fucking second.
Hell yeah,
dude.
okay.
I am actually super fucking hyped for this movie.
Nice
So
trailer.
basically, holy shit, dude. So basically, it is a new horror movie coming from the man that brought you Barbarian, which was like a left field, really fucking good horror movie that came out like 2-3 years ago. That came out, was super solid. I've never really heard of this director before. His name is Zach Kreger. He ironically actually comes from Northern Virginia, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't know why
so
that's cool, but I guess cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's just cool. It's cool that he comes from that state.
He comes in that state?
I'm sure he probably did.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We could ask him.
Why is it called Weapons? I guess I haven't gotten to that part yet. So far, it looks pretty normal. From the director of Barbarian.
There's some hypothesis behind the name. Some people thought, or like some people are trying to say that it's gonna end up being like a period piece on why guns need to be banned. I'm not getting that at all. So basically, from all you can really see in the trailer is a bunch of kids go missing one day. They all like unanimously get up from their beds like Wednesday morning, and they all disappear. No one can find them, and then they randomly return, and strange shit starts happening. So I don't know. Like, the title is Weapons. I do get that, but other than the title being Weapons, the connection to it being about getting guns banned seems kind of insane. So anyways, this director, he did Barbarian before this movie, and want to know what else he's known for? Directing episodes of The Whitest Kids You Know. And those are the only two things that I know.
Hell yeah, dude.
And those are vastly different.
Now, I don't know if this is true. We haven't verified this, but in the YouTube comments, it says, fun facts about this movie. Jordan Peele fired his managers for losing the bidding war for this film.
Yes, I have verified that.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to talk about that next.
The movie ended up selling to New Line Cinema for $38 million.
Yep.
That's a very expensive pitch.
That is a very fucking expensive pitch. And for Jordan Peele to get so upset that he doesn't get to write this movie or direct it, sorry. That to me makes it very evident that he's like, brother, this is going to be a badass movie. We have to be the people making it, and they're not going to be the people making it, and he's upset. So, dude, it's going to be great. Jordan Peele's also done some of the best horror movies of our generation. With like Get Out, Us, and You.
I wouldn't know. I knew Get Out. I wouldn't know any of the other ones.
And Nope.
Oh yeah. Was that the one about the tornadoes or whatever?
Yeah. No.
Didn't he do one about tornadoes?
Maybe. Also, I said You. That's the television show, not You. It's Get Out, Us, and Nope, and then maybe something else. But anyways, yeah. So he got so upset that they don't get to make the movie, that he fired the managers. So, dude, that to me, like that's screaming that he knows it's gonna be a great movie. Or at least it's a great script.
Okay, my bad. It's that Brandon Perea, who was in Nope, was also in Twisters.
Oh,
that's where I was getting mixed up about the tornado thing.
Yeah.
Hello, it's doing this thing again. Hold up. There we go. We just had to correct the behavior of the recording. That's all. I'm sorry. Apologize.
But yeah, so Barbarian, that was a really good movie. I'm assuming you have not watched that.
No, I don't watch movies really, especially scary ones. If it was scary,
it's doubly true. It was very scary, but it hits you with a good twist.
Well, now I can't watch it because you told me about the twist.
Yeah, but you don't know what the twist is. We should watch party that in the Discord.
Yeah, maybe. The thing with scary movies is like I always see what's going to happen before it happens. And generally speaking, I'm more afraid of what I think the monster or whatever the killer is. And then when they actually show the killer, it's like, that's what I was afraid of. Okay, dude. All right.
Based off you saying that, we should definitely watch this.
So,
because if you can accurately guess this twist, then kudos to you.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, it was super solid. It's so there is some sort of tie to Barbarian as well, which is going to be really cool. I don't know if he's making a Barbarian verse. Everyone seems to want to like make movies in accordance with each other and like make like an extended universe, but
well, it's like Stephen King's shit.
Yeah.
I think technically all of Stephen King's works are in the same universe or something like that.
Yeah. Basically, and the thing to get from that is don't go to Maine, because 9 out of 10 of them happen in Maine.
Hell yeah.
So Maine's bad place, bad juju comes from Maine. I'm really looking forward to that. I think that movie's gonna be great, based off Jordan Peele getting salty, and based off it being by the director of Barbarian, because Barbarian was really good. But Brock obviously can't give his thoughts because he is uneducated swine.
No. Yeah. Okay. Let me see your credentials. I've seen Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Donnie Darko.
Seen all those.
Room, whatever that room. What
the Room?
No. I mean, I have seen The Room, but that's not a scary movie.
I don't know. It scared the fuck out of me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, this dude's real? This is a real guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Tommy What's Up is real. No, it's like Room 1408 or something like that.
Oh, with John Cusack and
Sure, that sounds right.
Samuel Jackson. Yeah.
And then I've seen Ninth. It's a Nick Cage movie. I think Nick Cage. The Ninth Gate. It's some movie about hell.
Never heard of her.
What else have I seen that's spooky, scary skeletons? I've technically seen The Ring, but not in chronological order. Like I've never sat down and watched it from beginning to end, but I've seen the whole movie.
Hell yeah. This dude watched in reverse, so that way it wasn't as scary.
Yeah, she's going into the TV. Wait, is that even The Ring?
Yeah,
that's The Grudge. Wait, what is was it The Grudge? I don't know. I always mix those two up.
Yeah, right.
Okay, The Ring's the VCR
Grudge
thing,
is
right?
The little Japanese boy.
You have like 7 days or whatever.
Yeah.
And then The Grudge is the spooky, scary little. Is it a little boy? I thought it was a little girl. My bad.
Well, if it's a little girl, it's awkward because it's naked. Not naked.
Well, so
literally, but...
I think the reason I think that is because I always think of the scene in Scary Movie. I think it's Scary Movie 3, where they're making fun of that kid, and that one chick who's like the dumb chick is like saying fucking random like Japanese words like
Yeah.
Like I can't even think of one, but like soy sauce or something.
Suzuki, Honda.
Yeah, Suzuki,
Mitsubishi,
Honda. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like companies and stuff, and then it has like subtitles for what she's actually saying. That shit fucking killed me.
Scary movie movies were actually pretty funny. Well, up until 3. I think after 3 they started dropping off. But
I think they
two is
fell off.
fucking goated.
So I've seen the first 3 Final Destinations. I've seen, which I guess those are more thriller than scary movie. Than like they are a scary movie. But
No, they're supposed to be horror, but I agree. Like it's not really scary. It's like
Yeah.
suspenseful.
I've seen. I just had another one. I've seen both Jeepers Creepers, unless they made a third one. I haven't seen that.
They've made like 4, unfortunately.
Oh shit! I've seen one of the Saw movies. Don't ask me which one.
Hopefully number 5.
Is that the best one?
No, that would just be funny because there's like 11.
Is there actually 11? I thought there's only like 7 or something.
No, there's technically 11 because there's 10 because the newest one that came out a couple of years ago was Saw X, but then hold on, there might be 2 spin-offs technically because there's one called just Jigsaw, and I don't know if that was number 9, and then there's the Book of Saw.
Hell yeah. I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street. I've seen, that might be it, honestly. I'm sure if you started naming some shit, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen that.
So there is just 10. So Jigsaw and Spiral were both 8 and 9.
Okay.
Which is interesting. But yeah, there's Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw 5, Saw 6, Saw 3D, Jigsaw, Spiral, and then Saw X.
And then I'll just go ahead and say I've seen parts of like every Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and like all of those like movies. I've seen like bits and parts of it because every time I used to go over to my friend's house, he and his sister would just always have those shits on in the background like all the time. Like that's all they watch is scary movies. And so
as they should.
Yeah. So I've seen like a bunch of maybe that's why I'm not afraid of them, I guess. I don't know. I just seen like all of them, but like the part where it's not scary anymore.
Every Halloween I always watch Halloween, at least like the main ones. So like I watched the first one. Well, I watched like the new continuity. So that like I watched 1, and then there was like the remake from Danny McBride. That came out in 2018, I think. And then it's 2 sequels. So I'll watch at least those 3.
Wait, is Danny McBride the guy in Pineapple Express that gets his ear shot off?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to double check there.
At least I'm pretty sure that's who. Because I remember when like it was a thing. I was like, what the fuck? That's who's doing it. And then there's the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, but I don't always watch that one.
So good point. I've seen like all the Robert Rodriguez films. Robert. Yeah. Is that no? George Romero? I don't know why I got those mixed up. George Romero did all the zombie films, right?
Maybe.
Who did Night of the Living Dead? I've seen all those old fucking things.
Wait a minute.
Is Night of the Living Dead is George Romero. Yeah, so George Romero. I've seen like all the George Romero like zombie movies. Which there's a lot. Because there's like Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, I think. There's a few more, I think, too.
Okay, he wasn't a main writer for the script, but yeah, Danny McBride did write. He was one of the writers.
That's
so he's
funny.
not credited on IMDb, and I got really fucking confused.
Hell yeah.
Because the writers, it only says John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, and Jeff Fradley. So when I saw that, I was like, am I being fucking gaslit right now?
I've seen a lot of zombie movies.
Okay, dude. All right. I don't think they should. IMDb's being a little whack. So if you go to writers, it literally goes John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, Jeff Fradley. But when you actually click it,
It has him on
John
there.
Carpenter and Deborah Hill, their only like accreditations are that it's based on characters created by.
Hell yeah.
So the actual writers are Jeff Fradley, Danny McBride, and David Gordon Green.
Oh, perfect, dude. So I think there's a movie called Zombie.
That sounds dumb. Is it spelled like zombie, like B-E-E?
No. So there's some movie that was like the first time there was ever a zombie, but it was like voodoo zombies, right? And that came out in like the 30s. I've seen that film. I don't remember what it's called. Apparently it's not just called Zombie. It's called something else. But I've seen that. I've seen like all the George Romero zombie movies. I feel like zombie movies are usually not scary.
Yeah.
So I've seen like I Am Legend. That one was kind of scary actually. The dogs were kind of. I have a thing about
those are almost more so vampires though than zombies technically.
Yeah, they're literally vampires in the book. And they're like not fucking blood sucking like dumb vampires either. They're like intelligent.
No, there's the one scene where he's like, "I want to suck your blood."
Exactly, blood or dick. And then fucking Will Smith walks over and fucking slaps that kid. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. That's my favorite scene.
I shouldn't say this, but Jada kind of do be looking like them fucking bald ass vampires in that movie.
Holy shit. Yeah, you're about to get fucking slapped.
Oh shit. What was I gonna say though?
Would you let Will Smith slap you for $5,000?
Yeah, he looks like a bitch. He probably can't hit that hard.
Damn, the slap on Chris did look really weird, but I feel like that was like his adrenaline had to been fucking like straight pumping, so it was probably that, like the fact that he's probably hasn't been in too many physical altercations.
Not lately. Fucking how old is this dude? I mean, how? Okay, so he's 56.
I was like, he's got to be.
So let's temper it with that.
56 is crazy.
Yeah, he's 56. He is taller than me, so he's got that. He's taller than me by 3 inches, 4 inches even, depending on which of these numbers is accurate. This one says he's 6'1", and this one says he's 6'2".
Dude, him being that old is crazy.
True. He fucking might break his arm if he slaps me. The fuck? It's like trying to move a fucking boulder.
Okay, dude.
I mean, I'll probably weigh at least 2 of him.
What is?
We got derailed though.
We did. Yeah, we went from fucking horror movies to Will Smith's age.
I think when you read the I Am Legend book and then you watch the movie, they're like completely. They shouldn't even be called the same thing because they are so drastically different.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are very. I mean, like the characters' names are the same and like the premise is kind of the same, sort of. But they're drastically different. It should be like based on I Am Legend, because in the actual book, the dude, I don't know if I fucking remember his name, but he's like the last man on Earth or whatever, and he lives in his neighborhood or whatever, and like it also takes place in like the 50s. So imagine like the suburbs in the 50s, like Nuketown. Just think of like Nuketown, right?
Okay.
It look like the whole book looks like Nuketown, but like there's no desert or anything. Like the whole thing is just like a neighborhood. And so he gets in his like fucking, what the fuck are they called? Station wagon. He's driving around in his station wagon, like driving away from these dudes, and they're like talking to him and stuff. And he has like conversations with the fucking vampire guys, and they're like trying to tempt him and like trying to get him to turn. Also, I don't know. It's like very different.
When was the book written?
I don't know, in like the 60s or something.
Damn. I would be interested in reading that. I really liked that movie.
It's short. You can read it in a day, honestly. It's not a long book.
A week for me. 43 pages, is that really it?
No, it's longer than that. I have it.
Yeah, it was originally published in 1954. That's crazy. When did post-apocalyptic
so-
shit start coming out? Oh, 160 pages. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's right there. I was gonna say I thought it was right there next to so right here I have World War Z, right? This one. Yeah, this one right here is World War Z. This big orange one. Yeah, you can. And then I Am Legend is like over here somewhere. They used to be next to each other, but Aaron always fucking be taking books off my shelf and moving them around.
He's probably reading them.
Probably. He should read. He should read. This, I think. This one. This is Watchmen.
So I wonder what the first post-apocalyptic book was, because that came out in 1954.
They've been the Bible, honestly. I don't know.
I mean,
they've been writing that kind of shit for a long time, brother.
So
as long as the sky
saying,
gets dark at night, people been afraid.
one of the first examples is The Last Man, and that came out in 1826. That's crazy.
Damn, that's before fucking what the fuck is that guy's name? The
George R.R. Martin?
Yeah. No, it's not before him. He's been writing for like at least a couple centuries.
Not finishing though.
Not Poe, but the guy who always writes about fucking like Cthulhu. Who the fuck is that?
Oh, H.P. Lovecraft.
There we go. Lovecraft. That's before Lovecraft. Because I think Lovecraft was like 1890s or something like that.
I guess that's fair. What his books are probably considered like
100% horror. Yeah.
Apocalyptic. Yeah, well, horror.
Well,
yeah, but almost like apocalyptic-ish.
Oh, I placed him in the wrong time altogether. He was born in 1890, so that was the wrong number. He was writing his books in like the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, true. Damn, he only is 46.
True.
That's crazy.
Okay, so Poe could have been writing at the same time. Who wrote the book you said? What was the book called?
Mary Shelley, The Last Man.
Oh, Mary Shelley. That makes sense.
Does it?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is that guy?
A woman, first of all, but
Who the fuck is that girl?
nah, that does make sense though. She wrote a couple scary books. Was she I think she wrote Frankenstein.
She did.
Yeah, okay.
And Immortal.
I don't know what the fuck that is. But yeah, so anyways, post-apocalyptic, probably, I don't know, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the ancient Norse. I don't know, like all these people have like post-apocalyptic stories.
As opposed to the modern Norse?
True. I don't know if the modern Norse are writing stories. They might be. I'm unaware of if they are or are not. So I think there's a slight distinction though. Generally, most of the time, the stories prior to what you said are pre-apocalyptic, and then at the apocalypse, and then they like end. It's not about like because the apocalypse was like the end event. Like after that happens, there's just nothing. So
yeah,
it's similar, but I guess they are technically different. No, they weren't imagining what would happen afterwards. I'm sure someone had to have though. Maybe they just got lost or.
In the stalls?
Yeah, they were in the fucking Library of Alexander.
That's fair.
Don't touch me like that.
Sorry. Dude, oh my god. All right, so I saw Thunderbolts on its release, and I'm gonna spoil it all right now.
Perfect.
Just kidding.
Okay.
Dude, it was fucking solid. So I have at least moderately enjoyed all the Marvel movies that have come out. Some more than others. Like Thor Love and Thunder definitely was one of the weaker ones of the past few years. Guardians 3, one of the better ones of the past few years. So like it's ebbed and flowed a lot since Endgame. Like after Endgame, there was definitely a quality decline for sure, which I think is partially in due to the fact that you set such a fucking grand stage. It's kind of hard to live up to that, especially because like you have someone like Thanos who requires all of the fucking heroes that have been established up to this point to come together to fight him. And then you go back to how it was before this grand event where it's one-off stories that
Well, I think
have villains that don't require everyone.
yeah, I think that's why they switched to doing like TV shows more, because you can like, oh, it's not like a movie or whatever. It's like this is like their regular life. Like they're going back to their regular life, and now there's like a TV show, like seeing like Clint as like
Kind of, but they also like they're not. I don't know, because they're not like you're not seeing the same heroes. So like the same ones that have been getting movies are still getting movies.
well, that's fair. Because who got shows? Clint got a show. Has Hawkeye.
Yeah, so there's Hawkeye, there's Moon Knight,
yeah, Moon Knight's brand new, by the way.
Yeah.
There's the B, what is it? The B-roll characters for fucking Captain America. Bucky and
Oh
Falcon.
yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier. I didn't know where you were going with that. I was confused.
They got a show.
Yeah. They have a show, and he ended up getting his own Captain America movie too. So that's why it's kind of like I don't think it's just that. Like that might have had some influencing. I think they wanted to not have to spend as much money and pump out some stories, and also still pump out movies.
I don't know if that's it's my internet. Okay.
And I think no, it's also mine. So maybe it's Discord general.
Okay, I guess it's just Discord. Makes sense. Earlier today, Iris told me she was having problems with Xbox Game Pass. She couldn't play Oblivion because the Xbox services were jank. And during that same time, Fortnite was jank. So we're just getting solar flared or something. I don't fucking know.
Hell yeah. Solar flare.
You're gonna like watching this because it's fucking robotic as fuck.
Should we stop for a second?
I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna last. I don't think there's any point. It'll just be kind of jank. I mean,
yeah.
So either it's not gonna last very long and we'll just plow through this and it'll be fine, or it's gonna last the rest of the recording and we're just gonna have to do it all over again tomorrow or something.
It's true. Either one's stupid. Anyways, so basically, movie was great. I thoroughly fucking enjoyed it. Marvel is so fucking back. This movie, I need to sit down and actually rank all of the movies, but I think I need to rewatch them, and that's gonna take weeks. But I want to rank all the movies because just from what I'm going off of based off memory, this is top 5 Marvel movie.
Damn,
for sure. It is
okay,
really
but
fucking good.
Just to put it into perspective, what's in your top 5? I don't need to know what order they're in, but what's in your top 5?
Endgame, Infinity War.
Okay.
As together, so that like that's not 2.
Okay.
Like that's one thing. Winter Soldier. Doctor Strange.
The first one?
Yeah.
Well, we have vastly different opinions.
I like Civil War, but I don't know if I'd actually put it in my top 5.
Damn.
Damn, you know, the more that I think about it, I think this is definitely my top 5 because I'm actually having a hard time of like placing movies.
Damn. This kid already forgot that he liked Black Panther 2.
I liked Black Panther 2, but I definitely don't think I would. I don't think I'd say it's in my top 5.
So for my top 5, I think I'd probably put Civil War in there. Yeah, I probably would. Just because of Spider-Man. If Spider-Man wasn't in that movie, I don't think it would be top 5. Endgame is definitely in there. Guardians 2, Thor 3, and ooh, and it's kind of hard to name 5 that you'd put above everything else. Maybe Ant-Man.
First one, okay, yeah, the first Ant-Man was pretty solid.
Well, I've heard the second one's better, but I haven't seen it.
I liked it more than the first one, but I liked the first one. Okay, so Thunderbolts, Winter Soldier.
Winter
Doctor
Soldier being in
Strange.
your top 5 is crazy.
Is it? It's in a lot of people's top rated of the Marvel movies.
Winter Soldier?
Yes.
I have to go back and watch it, I guess, because I thought that movie was ass. I thought Thor 2 was better.
That is a fucking crazy statement. Fuck. I forgot where I was. Anyways, yeah, Thunderbolts in my top 5 for sure.
Oh yeah.
So this is its first weekend. Already grossed 162 million global.
Damn.
So it is fucking swinging a hit. So let's see. Its budget was 180 million with an additional 100 million for marketing. So 280 like basically in costs. So it's already halfway there with its fucking first weekend. So not bad.
You know, that's it's funny to think that this year we've had some crazy numbers just everywhere. Like we had Snow White earlier. It was like the biggest flop of all time ever. And then Minecraft, which, you know, a video game movie, like those never do good. And it did amazing. And now this doing also amazing.
Yeah, especially after after Marvel was trending down too.
Well, not only that, but it's like the B-list heroes, you know? Like this, like
yeah, it's Marvel's Suicide Squad.
Well,
yeah,
not only
literally.
that, but like US Agent has never been in a movie as far as I know, right?
Not in a movie, no.
Because I was gonna say he was in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, but he wasn't in the film. What was that called?
What, the new Captain America?
Yeah, Brave New World or something.
Correct. I'm trying to think if he actually had like a small little scene. I don't remember for sure.
And then
if he appears in it, it's very brief.
We've got
I can't quite remember.
White Widow or Black Widow 2.0 or whatever you want to call her. I think her official name is White Widow though. Yelena though.
They don't ever refer to her as that, if that's the case.
I don't know. I think in the comics she's usually referred to as White Widow or something like that. So, because she's Romanov's adopted sister. I'm not really sure how their family works. I watched the movie, most of it. I still didn't really understand what the fuck. They had Red Guardian, which he was in a movie, and I mean, you know, and then has Ghost been in a movie at all? I think Ghost.
Well, that's so the reason why you don't know is because she was in Ant-Man 2.
Okay. So then they have Ghost, and then Taskmaster is new in this film, right?
No, also in the Black Widow movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She's the main villain. All throughout the movie.
Do they not tell you that it's Taskmaster?
They might not use that name, but it's like she's dressed up as Taskmaster.
I didn't get that. I watched like 60% of the film, and I didn't understand at any point that was Taskmaster. But maybe she like had minimal screen time or something. I think they fought her like one time. No. I think
maybe you should rewatch the movie.
I don't remember her at all, dude.
Yeah, so
because they don't fight her at the prison, do they?
No. So at the very beginning of the movie, like the reasoning for Natasha breaking them out of prison, I think she gets attacked on that bridge, and that's Taskmaster.
Well, doesn't she get attacked in her own house too by Yelena? Or Yelena, or however the fuck you say her name?
I think she goes looking for Yelena, I think.
Oh, well, I don't know. There's a
After
scene
getting
where
attacked.
they're fighting in an apartment.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is just Jason Bourne.
Dude, quite literally. Like that is, yeah, quite literally.
But
yeah,
I don't know.
And then she fights Taskmaster at the end of the movie again.
Okay. Well, so all right. So, but basically, it's a bunch of fucking fresh new characters that haven't had much screen time or much exposure or fucking like build
not
up
at all.
None of them have had their own standalone movie.
This is essentially a sequel to Black Widow and to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, basically. In terms of like plot progression.
Makes sense. But yeah.
So not only is it doing good money wise, because this also like it could be selling tickets, but people are like fucking panning it. So Rotten Tomatoes has like the two different types of scoring now. They've always had the tomato score, which is like
Their score.
Yeah, it's like their score, but it's like critics and also user submission or something like it's kind of confusing. All right, so the tomato meter is aggregating the reviews of professional film critics who are approved by Rotten Tomatoes, and so it represents the percentage of positive reviews among the total reviewed. And then there's the new thing that came out last year called the popcorn meter, and that is the percentage of positive ratings, which is 3.5 or higher, from users who have verified their purchase of tickets through Fandango. So that's going to be more of like users versus tomato meter is like film critics. So anyways, the score that it has, 88% tomato score and 94% popcorn meter score. So it is doing really good in that regard as well.
My thing with the popcorn score is I feel like most people are not reporting it unless they hated the movie or if they love the movie. So I feel like a lot of people don't even fucking, if you have to verify that you purchased tickets, like I feel like a lot of people don't even fucking bother doing that. I'm sure there's plenty of hardcore people who are like, oh dude, every movie I see I'm gonna fucking do Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. But
yeah, well, and here's the thing with that too is, yeah, you have to, it's through Fandango, so like that's such a weird fucking amalgamation. So I just looked it up, 5,000 plus verified ratings.
that's kind of a lot. That's a lot more than I thought it would be. I mean, for just this weekend, like that's
just this weekend,
and just on Fandango, right? So that's more than I thought there would be. Maybe if the movie's been out for a while, right? Like
that
a week or two.
Significantly more than I thought. That is wild.
I mean, that number's not crazy. Like I'm sure it'll get up higher, probably a lot higher actually. But just for the first weekend, like I don't know, feels like it's a lot.
Yeah, it does.
I am still kind of bummed that they never did like a female Avengers film after Endgame, or
it definitely felt like they were setting it up to do that.
Like the whole scene where Spider-Man has like the Infinity Gauntlet or whatever, and then they all like come down and like they're like basically like we're your mom or whatever. We're your collective group of moms, and they're all walking. Like I think that would have been kind of cool. I also had.
Was there ever a female Avengers team? I feel like there probably has been at some point.
I'm sure there has been. I without knowing the answer, I guarantee there has been. My issue with that, so I did have an issue with it though, is that like some of those people that like grouped up in that gang or whatever have never met each other in the films. Granted, there's a 5-year time skip in Endgame, so like maybe they would meet each other, or maybe when Thanos snapped everyone, they all went to the same place. And they're just chilling. But
no, so I think it's been shown that when you get snapped, like you're just gone. Like you just like it's essentially like dying. Like in terms of like what you perceive, it's essentially death.
But especially the way Spider-Man says it, he's like, oh, remember when I was like turning all like dusty or whatever, and then he's like, and then I just woke up and Doctor Strange.
To him it had been like 10 minutes or something.
Well, yeah, but keep in mind that he's got like heightened Spidey senses or whatever, which is why he was like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good, because his spider sense was like, oh, you're dying.
Yeah.
And so he kind of, I guess he didn't realize that that's what he was experiencing, but he knew it was bad. So I mean, I guess they are dead, but like, so that was one issue I had with that. And then the other issue I had was that Pepper Potts using the suit, the Iron Man suit, like flawlessly, was kind of weird.
So it's weird in the sense of like we've never seen her do it, but right. I don't think it's out of the realm of like,
no, it's not out of the realm of things that could happen, but it's just like, it was like almost like a fan service moment or something, because it was like we never see her use the suit ever. Like there was a 5-year time skip. Maybe she and Tony together at the same time were doing whatever. Like Tony said he got her a suit of armor. Like it's possible they were doing stuff, but I don't know. You never see it. So
well, they were doing stuff. They were making
not
the daughter,
not that stuff. But I mean, I guess we got Thunderbolts, so we didn't need female Avengers.
Thunderbolts is almost female Avengers. I mean, it's fucking. There's 3 females.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. 3? Only 3? There's Taskmaster, Ghost. Okay.
And Yelena. Yeah. And Bucky.
True.
No, I actually like Bucky. Bucky's a fucking badass, dude.
Rewatching Endgame today, I realized that you don't actually see Bucky walk out of any of the circles. That the what the fuck are the wizard guys called?
We can just call them wizard guys.
Yeah, the fucking Doctor Strange wizard guys. What are they called?
Sorcerers.
Sorcerers. Thank you. I don't know why that word doesn't float around my head very much. I don't think you see Bucky step out of a thing, and then there's a scene where he's like shooting a gun. It's like, where the fuck did Bucky come from? I mean, he must have come out of the Wakanda gate or whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, I guess he would have, right? Because he didn't get snapped, right? Or did he?
Yeah, he did. He got snapped in Wakanda. He
That's right. Yeah. Because that's right.
They all, dude, like everyone in that forest got dusted. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I think Rocket. I think Rocket was there and he didn't get dusted, and then Hulk was there, and then Thor and Tony. Well, Tony wasn't there, but Thor was there.
And then
I guess Cap had to be there. Yeah, so it was Cap, Thor, Rocket, and Hulk. So I mean, half of them, because it was Wanda and Black Panther and Bucky, and Falcon was there technically.
Wanda didn't get dusted, did she?
Yeah, she did.
There's WandaVision, did she? Okay.
Yeah, she got dusted. WandaVision was after Endgame.
What a fucking loser. She should have just not fucking got killed.
True.
Or let Vision get killed.
Well, that's why she was so fucking pissed when she sees Thanos again, and he's like, I don't know who you are. She's like, you took everything from me, because she watched Vision die, and then she wakes up like 3 minutes after that and is like, all right, let's go kick Thanos' ass.
That's fair, actually. Yeah. Shout out Thanos.
Another issue. We're just gonna keep talking about Endgame. Another issue I have is that they're like, oh no, we're getting shot by the ship. It's doing all this crazy ship shit. It's murdering everyone. And then it's like, oh, guess who's here? Yeah, that's right. It's Captain Marvel, this fucking douchebag who's late to fucking everything, but could have definitely solved and handled everything by herself. But she's fucking late because she's a cunt.
She had space shit to worry about.
I don't give a fuck. I hate her. Which is crazy because, like, the comic Captain Marvel, I really like. But the MCU's Captain Marvel, I fucking despise. I loathe her. She's a fucking terrible character. And I don't know if it's the way they wrote her or it's Brie Larson, but it could be either. Brie Larson was in some other film I didn't mind her in. It was it? No, that's not her. I was gonna say American Ultra, but I don't think that's Brie Larson. That's
it's not. It's
that's fucking
Kirsten Stewart or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, fucking never smile bitch.
Yeah. What is her name? I don't think it.
No, I think you're right. It's Kristen Stewart, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
Kristen
Stewart.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's not what you said, but I
I said Kirsten Stewart. Yeah, Kristen Stewart.
Oh, she was in Kong Skull Island. I like that film. Oh, she's 21 Jump Street too. Was she in 22 Jump Street? So I liked her in both of those, but in 21 Jump Street and in Kong.
The same, actually. I really liked her in both of those. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was the first thing I'd seen Brie Larson in was 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, I don't know. Her Captain Marvel's ass though. And
so it's probably not her. It's probably the writing.
It's probably the writing because look at how the Marvels performed, like the actual film with her in it. Her sequel.
Yeah.
Terrible movie. Apparently, I've never seen it.
I'm going to start watching the movies. It's probably going to take me a really long time because like I don't have. This is going to be something I'm doing like in my spare time. So it's going to take me a really long time to fucking trudge through them. But I'm going to fucking rank them as I watch them.
Okay.
And then I'll make
like on a tier list.
And then probably by episode 175, I will present my findings.
So hold on. Are you going to watch them and then like give them a number and then sort them based on the numbers?
I think so.
Or are you gonna just make like bookmark a tier list page or something and just like take a screenshot every time you rank them?
No, I could start the fucking page and then just like slowly update it as I watch them. But no, I was gonna like assign them a score basically, and then when I finally finish it, in 2029, I will present that score of all of them, or like I'll like arrange them based off the score.
Winter Soldier's the movie where he has the mask on the whole time, right? Yeah. And then you don't know he's fucking Bucky until it gets like shot off or whatever, and then it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the first really good cinematography fucking movies for Marvel. I mean, not in the world.
Maybe the cinematography in that film was good, but like I didn't feel like it was a great story. Maybe it's just because Bucky was like not significant to me. I think
that was the Russo brothers, wasn't it?
I don't remember
that,
but that's one of those ones.
It was the Russo brothers.
That's one of those ones where the like Bucky's character, I didn't even remember who the fuck that was. And Cap's like Bucky, and I was like, who the fuck is Bucky? And then I had to go back and rewatch the first one, and I still to this day can watch the first Avenger, and I'm like, okay, now which one of these kids is Bucky?
Right. The Winter Soldier has a 90% on tomato meter and 92% popcorn meter with 250,000 plus ratings.
Hell yeah, it's a beloved movie. I didn't care for it. It was ass. Maybe I need to fucking watch it again. I don't know. I think you should
rewatch all these movies with me at the same time. Because I don't think you remember anything that happened in Black Widow other than the Jason Bourne inspired fight.
Okay, so to be fair, I didn't finish Black Widow, and we had to keep pausing it because I was watching it with the kids, and they kept like doing all kinds of shit. So I was like, I was like, not like, we watched it for like 3 hours, and we didn't finish the movie, and it's like 2 hours long. So
yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of Black Widow, so that's honestly kind of fair.
So I missed a lot of it. Or like I just need to sit down and watch it all the way through to really like grasp it.
Bigger grasping guy on
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, moving on in other Marvel news.
Yes, in other Marvel news, you have not seen Hawkeye, or did you watch that?
It's one of the only ones I watched every episode of.
Sick. Okay, perfect then. Guess what? Jeremy Renner revealed that he turned down an offer for season 2 of Hawkeye because they offered him half of his original salary.
For Hawkeye 1?
Yeah. Like his salary from Hawkeye 1, they offered him half of that. Which, you know, in hindsight, I probably should have grabbed that number if it's even fucking public.
Brother, did they expect him to accept that?
Probably. So here's what's kind of shitty about that if you think of it this way. I don't think, and this is so stupid, he's not the main character anymore. So I think they were positioning Haley Steinfeld to take his mantle.
Right. That makes sense.
And so like he's not like, I mean, he is Hawkeye, but he's not Hawkeye anymore.
We're
like,
gonna move into Kate Bishop's Hawkeye.
Basically. So I think he was gonna be just like a supporting role. And so that's why they were probably like, hey, here's half the salary, you'll take that, right? So anyways, he obviously took that as a fucking insult, as any respectable actor would. He also had that accident, and so I think he's like, oh, what, you think I got ran over, so I'm half the actor now? Which, depending on how you look at it, could be kind of douchey, could be kind of like fair. I don't know. I think it depends on how they meant it. I think they meant it how I'm saying it. They're like, hey, it's not your show anymore. You're going to be like a supporting character. We're not going to pay you as much.
Well, they were already prepping like in Hawkeye 1 to like write him out. He's having like fucking tinnitus issues and shit, which I think in the comics, I don't want to say that this is, but I feel like in the comics he's blind, not deaf.
He does go blind. So like there's Old Man Logan. He's fully blind in that. That's the only thing I know off. I
think it's funny though, because like I think even though he's blind, he's like Daredevil basically.
Yeah.
But I guess his hearing going makes more sense. But I don't know. I feel like in combat you need your eyes and your ears. So couldn't say, but I feel like they did a really good job introducing Kate Bishop, and I really liked her character of being like a real like young and like, what's the word? Like she's like kind of full of herself. She's like surprisingly gifted, even though she has like no experience, and she's kind of like she doesn't really understand things.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job like having her sort of have like a character arc where it comes to a point where she's like, oh, I might be in a little bit over my head, but then she realizes that like she's capable, and then like he seems to be like, you know what, you are pretty capable. I think you could do it. You just need more experience. Plus, so I feel like MCU Clint is like, yo, I want to fucking retire. I have family to worry about.
Yeah, especially after Endgame. I mean, Endgame. Dude, the opening to Endgame is so fucking good.
Where he fucking goes on a fucking murder spree.
Yeah, well, like just seeing like the trauma he went through with that. Like he's over here fucking grilling out, eating some fucking wieners with his family, and they're all like, and you know, that's a little weird too, because they were kind of making it seem like it was gonna be his daughter, would be like Hawkeye. He literally called her Hawkeye, I think, didn't he?
I don't think so. I just watched it today. I don't remember that.
Yeah, because he's like having her do like target practice. Anyways, Then he
might.
fucking like turns around, they all like disappear. And so then yeah, he fucking goes on a killing spree.
No one in his family knows he's a hero, do they? Except his wife.
I would have to imagine his kids don't know, yeah.
Well, so that's one of those things that I don't know, because like Natasha shows up and they're all like, oh yeah, like Auntie Natasha or whatever the fuck. In one of the films, she shows up to like collect him or whatever, and they know who she is. Maybe it's Infinity War, actually.
He wasn't in Infinity War.
Oh, okay. Well, then it was Civil War then, maybe? That's right, because Natasha's with Cap in Infinity War, and they're chasing Vision the whole time.
Yeah.
Or protecting Vision, whichever.
Scissoring Vision, I think.
Yeah, they're scissoring. Yeah, both of them are scissoring Vision at the same time. Dude.
So I looked it up. Hawkeye season 1 salary is not publicly available.
Hell yeah.
But and we did talk about this a few episodes ago, but he made 3 million for Avengers, like the first Avengers, 6 million for Age of Ultron, and 15 million for Endgame, which is so fucking crazy to think about.
He had a decently sized role in Endgame. The biggest role he'd had so far. That's a lot of money though for like a B-list character.
That is so much money, dude. And that's just that is so crazy to think about.
If they paid him 15 million in Endgame, hold on, I want to know how much they paid everyone in Endgame, because that's crazy.
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think maybe he just didn't get the picture that like Marvel's not doing great and they can't fucking pay him that much, especially when they're gonna kill his character off in like the second episode.
Yeah, I'm curious how much he made for Hawkeye season 1, because if they offered him, like if they matched it, which I'm sure they didn't, but if they matched the 15 million and they were like, hey, come back for season 2 for 7.5 million, that's still plenty. But I'm sure it wasn't that high.
I bet it was 10 at the most, and then they offered him 5 and he's like, fuck no.
Which that's why it's kind of like I get the slap in the face, because it's like, well, what? I was in an accident and now you're gonna only offer me half my salary.
But
I don't think that was their stance.
How often does it happen that an actor is like written out, or like in the sequel they don't have as big a role and then they get paid half?
Probably all the fucking time.
Oh, I think, well, maybe with smaller actors, I think usually with like big name stars, usually they get paid at least the same, even if their character has a smaller role in the sequel.
Maybe.
But that's comparing film to television, which is different entirely. I don't know. Maybe he only gets fucking. Maybe they did something where he gets like royalties based on how many times each episode is streamed, and maybe that's why he turned it down, because he was only going to be in half the episodes or something. So like someone might watch the whole show, but he's only making money for the like 3 of the episodes or something. I don't know how, without it being publicly like available, like it's hard to say why.
Yeah.
It's hard to assign motive, as Daniel would say.
Daniel would say that. Oh man. All right, moving on. But still talking about film success.
Oh.
Revenge of the Sith just got re-released. For whatever fucking reason, not on May the 4th. It was for the movie's 20th anniversary, so whatever, I get that. But so it generated $42.2 million worldwide, which is kind of fucking insane for a 20-year-old movie to be re-released.
And it's not even the favorite prequel movie.
You don't think so?
No, I think Attack of the Clones is everyone's favorite.
I don't know if I believe that.
Damn.
It's not my favorite, at least for sure.
What's your favorite? The first one?
No, fuck no.
No, I know you like Jar Jar. Don't lie,
dude. Episode 1 might actually be like, maybe not in comparison to the sequel trilogy, but it's like probably my lowest ranked movie other than the sequel trilogy movies. Episode 3 is like one of my favorites.
I mean, it's good. I think what makes it so good though is all the shows. The shows fleshed it out so much. I was actually just watching a clip of a podcast about some guys. I don't remember which podcast, so I'm sorry. I'd love to credit you, but they're talking about how the impact of Anakin being a whiny bitch when they're like, we allow you to sit on this council, but we don't grant you the rank of master. And he's like, come on, guys, that's not fair. Like, that's how, like, if you only watch the films, like, that's how he comes off. But when you start watching the shows, you're like, okay, well, he's a decorated war general. Like, he's been leading the clones successfully, by the way. He's got a better track record than just about everyone there. And he defeated Count Dooku, which even Yoda hadn't done. And
shout out Yoder.
Exactly. And like, I don't know. So it's just like when you actually like place in like everything that had happened and the fact that he was like saving everyone's ass collectively all the time, you're like, okay, that's pretty good. And then he trained a Padawan to knighthood, which is literally a requirement to be master. And so it's one of those things.
I don't like that you don't really fucking see. Well, not you don't really see. I don't like that you don't see or have any mention of Ahsoka at all in episode 3. And I know the whole reasoning behind that is because she was not a character yet. But like having her be so pivotal in the TV show.
Yeah. TV shows.
True. TV shows really fucks up with that canon.
Yeah.
Star Wars consistently shoots itself in the foot because it keeps going back and muddying in waters that are pre-established.
True.
And instead of playing with unestablished lore, and that will forever bother the fuck out of me.
I was so excited when they're like, hey, we're doing a sequel. It's like, cool. Brand new territory. We've got a great base. We have a great base, like vanilla canvas. Like you can do literally anything. And they're like, you know what? Let's just remake episode 4. But worse.
Literally, dude.
But worse. I don't know. And then episode 7 was just like, 8 was just like a brother. And then while they're doing all this, they go back and they do Rogue One, which was a great movie. Although Ninjahitman didn't know my opinion on it until 3 years after I saw it. Rogue One was phenomenal. And then, well, except for the parts with Forrest Whitaker, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care for him as an actor.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I thought his character of Saul was fucking really cool, actually. I actually need to go back. Have you watched Andor?
No.
I bought it. And I had started watching it on Disney and fucking was not paying enough attention, so like it didn't like capture my attention. But it's being regarded as some of the best Star Wars media to come out in recent years, and season 2 is also getting like the same type of appraise. So it's really making me want to watch it. Because I want to love Star Wars. They're just not fucking giving us enough good stuff. Like, so the Jedi games that have been coming out are really good. The Ahsoka show was good. I was really hoping the Acolyte show was going to be good, and there was aspects of it that were good, but they ended up fucking kind of dropping the ball with that, which is upsetting, and it didn't do well. So I think they publicly announced that they're not doing a season 2, which sucks, because that show definitely ends on like a not really a cliffhanger, but it ends on a note of like hey, there's more to explore here.
Hmm.
Like, basically a cliffhanger, I
Yeah.
guess.
So my thing is I agree with that pretty much, but I think Tales of the Underworld, which is like their new cartoon, I guess,
yeah,
is kind of cool. I watched at least an episode. I'm not sure how that works. Apparently there's 2 episodes that were airing, I think.
like every week.
No, I don't know how it's working. So in Fortnite, because Fortnite has a huge Star Wars collab thing that they do, they have a whole May the 4th like event. They teamed up with Disney Plus, and on May 2nd, which was Friday, they put an island into the game where you could like run around and like play with lightsabers and like shoot blasters and like fight stormtroopers, right? If you want, but it's like a event room, and it's called like Watch Party, and you can watch I think the first 2 episodes of Tales of the Underworld, and
That's cool.
I mean, the episode seems pretty cool. And so they came out on Disney today, though. I think I think it's 2 episodes. Might only be 1, but I don't know. I was there for like 45 minutes, so maybe it was 2 episodes. But they came out 2 days before Disney Plus, and so that's kind of a cool little thing that they did to like boost Fortnite. And I mean, Fortnite's always been pretty good about boosting their shit.
Yeah.
But I don't think this event was advertised like at all. I mean, if you get on Fortnite, it's advertised, and like there's always the May the 4th stuff, and like this whole season for the month of May is all Star Wars focused. But yeah, it's, I don't know. They've kind of been missing lately, I think, in general, basically since the sequels.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely more misses than hits, but I don't know. I'm hopeful. Looking at how much money Revenge of the Sith made as well, like for that
Yeah.
being so old, like how many people do you think that was their first time watching it in general?
In theaters this weekend? I don't think that was anyone's first time.
Not in the dude. If I would have went, that would have been my first time watching it in theaters. I really wanted to, and I really don't know why I didn't. I probably should have.
I thought you meant like first time watching it in general, like seeing that film.
Yeah, that is what I'm talking about.
Oh.
So it would have been my first time watching it in theaters, but no, that's what I'm saying. Like, how many people do you think that was their first time watching it ever? Because that's probably like second plus time for everyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that was many people's first time watching it at all.
So that's a lot of double dipping, triple dipping, whatever.
I mean, the only people who would be seeing that for the first time ever are people who are like children that like their parents are like, yo, I fucking love this movie growing up. Let's go watch this movie.
Yeah.
But again, even then they've probably seen it. Like my kids have seen that movie multiple times.
So accounting for the new money it just raked in, that boosted its lifetime global gross to nearly 900 million.
That's a lot.
Which that is a lot. So it's almost at $1 billion. And that movie came out in what, 2005, 6?
Was it? Yeah, 2005 sounds right. 2006 sounds okay. You gotta look it up.
Yeah, 2005.
Okay. I was gonna say I think it came out like right when I started high school, so that makes sense. Shout out being old.
Damn, this dude. I was say, damn, this dude old as fuck. So yeah, that's $1 billion, which granted it you know almost pulled in half a mil or half of 100 mil. But for it to almost be at $1 billion back then, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is kind of a lot back then. I mean,
like back then, fucking only Titanic really had done it.
Hitting $1 billion ever is still kind of a feat
unheard of.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is a beloved. Well, they've been kind of shooting themselves in the foot. It is a beloved franchise, though. But I don't know. I think Disney acquiring them really fucked everything, especially because Disney was like, all right, we have acquired the Star Wars IP. The first thing we're doing is making everything that was in the extended universe not canon.
Yeah.
And there's like so many cool like Darth Vader stories that are just not canon anymore. And then they still fucking put out those dog shit sequels.
So I just pulled up the franchise like all-time box office for all of them. So episode 7 actually has the highest all-time gross,
Yeah.
which
because people were excited to go see Star Wars again. They were so excited. They didn't know yet that they were going to get fucking destroyed in the next 2 films.
I'm slightly confused. So this is from Box Office Mojo. It has episode 3 ranked pretty low. So the lifetime gross for episode 3, it only says 380 million, which obviously it just got, like I said, like 40 million, but that said bumped it up to 900 million. So that math isn't mathing. So I don't know how actually accurate this is or the 900 million was.
I don't know. Is gross the after cost has been factored out? Or is that before cost has been factored out?
I think that is
before.
Yes.
So net is after? Okay. That would make sense maybe. I don't know.
I don't actually know either.
Is not my strong suit. That's why I switched out of accounting and switched to whatever. In accounting, this is a nifty fun fact that I don't think have correct, but maybe I do. In accounting, when you're looking at an accounting sheet, a debit is a like subtraction and a credit is like an addition. And when you say those words, it makes sense. Like you're credited something versus you're debited something. So if you're debited, you're paying, right? So you lose money. And then when you're credited, you're getting paid. But for whatever reason, because debit cards and credit cards exist, it always never made sense in my brain because it's like you're losing money in both of those. I don't know what you're talking about. Accounting didn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. That was kind of off the rails, but there you go.
This is very interesting.
Okay.
A New Hope made $1.5 million. It's opening, I'm assuming opening weekend, which sounds insane.
In 1972? What year did that come out?
77.
Oh, 77? I'm sorry, Moken.
Yeah, it only opened in 43 theaters, but its max theaters was 1,750. Just for comparison, The Force Awakens opening theaters was 4,134, and that was also its max. So 43 theaters versus 4,000. That's crazy.
I feel like The Force Awakens was actually an okay film. Like it wasn't great, it wasn't spectacular. I have problems with it for sure. I definitely have criticisms. But I think that what they did with episode 8 just like and then what they did with episode 9 is just
all the back and forth is definitely what hurt the sequel trilogy. If they would have just stuck with one plan and not fucking rubber banded, it would have at least hit better than what we ended up getting.
I think accepting that Leia went and had Jedi training post episode 6 was fine. Her having her own lightsaber is kind of weird, I think. But what they did with how much force power they gave her in episode 8 is just stupid. Like I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's You're talking about the Mary Poppins thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, because as far as I know, that was never shown before that ever, right? Like a force sensitive person
Falling
fucking
themselves.
flying, yeah, through air or through space, even better.
Yeah. What? Not only that, but how did she was in the vacuum of space? You fucking freeze almost instantly, and you get fucking, I don't know, is it you get compressed or ripped apart? I don't remember which one it is, but it's one of those.
You probably get depressed.
True. I'm always depressed, but I don't know. The it like, on one hand, like I like that they tried new things. Like, they weren't like, who directed, I forgot who even directed that. What's her fuck? Like, I like that the movie tried new things and was like it was like trying to be groundbreaking, which, like, I feel like the series needed. Like, it needed some groundbreaking new things.
Yeah.
But the new things it tried weren't grounded in the universe that the films take place in. So, like, they don't seem tangible or logical, or like they don't make sense in universe, and that really fucking like breaks things, because it's like, it's almost like the people who made the movie are unfamiliar with the source material, and that ruins the film significantly.
Yeah.
Plus, there was just some bad storytelling elements that was just like,
Do you think Luke, Leia, and Han returning, or I guess let me rephrase that. Do you think them not returning would have made the movies better?
I don't mind if they're there. They rewrote who Luke was.
Yeah.
And then the whole New Order thing doesn't make sense to me, because, like, the Empire's gone. Yes, there's power vacuum. We talked about this already, but like,
We did.
I feel like filling the power vacuum with just the same exact carbon copy is like really fucking stupid. It's like, hey, you're not being fucking colonized by the British anymore. You're being colonized by the Americans. It's the same people.
Essentially, yeah.
And so, like, that kind of like was stupid. And then, I don't know, Rey's entire existence, I just don't make her related to Palpatine, and I have almost no problem with her at all. Like, she's just a force sensitive being that was on some desert planet for some reason. And
yeah, I think they made her too powerful, and they were like, shit, the fans are pissed, we gotta figure out a way to explain her being so powerful. And so they're like, what do we do? And they're like, I know,
we'll make her
she's
related to
Palpatine.
Yeah. Palpatine's not even the strongest. It doesn't even matter. The other thing is like, her beating Kylo doesn't make sense, because I think technically he didn't finish his Jedi training, so he would be considered like a Padawan basically. And then Snoke finished his training, but Snoke's not a force sensitive being as far as I could tell. He's just a puppet, really. So I mean, he is just Palpatine, but I don't.
He was force sensitive.
Technically, he was not even real. He's just like a fucking.
True. Well, he's a clone.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. He was just fucking.
But yeah, he was force sensitive. He actually seemed kind of powerful too, but
the way they killed him was badass, though.
Yeah,
that whole throne room scene was pretty cool. There's some problems with the choreography that's a little weird. Like, all the like dudes walk up one at a time, and then when they get beat, they like move out of the way, and like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, if you really watch it like frame by frame, it's like, okay, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's just like standing there, like, it's
waiting
like,
for his turn.
Yeah, what are you doing? Go fucking stab her.
Yeah, y'all could have easily overpowered them at any point. There's like 10 of y'all and
that
two
scene,
of them.
That scene is kind of cool though. If you're not paying attention to things like that. But the way they killed Snoke was fucking sick. Like, why like, that's one of those things that they were like, oh, let's try some new groundbreaking things, and that's one of the things that worked, was Force turning on the lightsaber to kill him. Like, that's fucking sick. Um,
Also killing the big bad in the second movie.
yeah.
That was pretty crazy too.
Yeah. Well, and dude, I feel like killing Snoke set it up perfectly because Kylo kills Han in the first one because that was like his last attachment to the light side, and then he helps kill Snoke. Dude, I think they set him up perfectly to be like the main antagonist in the third one, and then surprise, it's Palpatine.
Is there any other showing? So you remember him and Kylo and Rey like start communicating with each other?
Yeah.
Are there any other examples of that throughout the series? I feel like there has been, like, not a lot, but I feel like maybe like Yoda, like Yoda's
So,
fucking reached out to people or something, but I
yeah,
couldn't remember for sure.
Yoda has he couldn't necessarily reach out to people. He could sense, he could feel other people. But yeah, that whole thing, I liked it being explained kind of the way they explained it, and then they just fucked it up completely by them being like born like at the exact same time or some shit weird like that. But then you find out that they're like related distantly somehow, right? I guess not technically, but 'cause he's a
I got really confused with the whole dyad and the Force explanation.
yeah,
That's what you're talking about, right?
yeah.
With the,
So
the
it's
dyad
like
thing.
the dyad
Yeah.
thing, like they have, I don't know how the fuck it's explained. Maybe they're not related. I don't know. Point is, it's like it was kind of cool. I think it would have like been cooler though if they had like explained it as, instead of it being like a dyad or whatever, is that they were like they were like really similar, like connected on some sort of level, that they were able to communicate with each other like that. Not that they were like born that way or whatever.
Yeah, I think they were like going for like a yin and yang type thing. So something that fucking pissed me off.
Kylo's death.
That's a little extreme. Yeah, that's a
Dude.
little extreme. No, the fucking kiss. So I just read something the other day that they apparently like filmed that whole scene like 15 separate ways, and the director just really wanted to make sure they got the fucking kiss in. And that to me is just so fucking stupid. They didn't need to do that.
Dude, that's like one of those things that like I don't need there to be a romance in my movies, but if there is a romance, it needs to feel not icky, because that wasn't it. I mean, I understand they're like fucking might both die.
I also didn't like that you could fucking hand stuff off when they were communicating through the Force. Because it ends up happening with like, what was it? His helmet, I think, right? Or something. And then she gives him the lightsaber in that end scene. Like he doesn't have it, and he's like holding his hands behind his back, and then they're communicating, and she like gives it to him or something like that. I'm pretty sure. I have not seen it since it came out, so I might be misremembering that, but
I even liked it better if they explained it as that she was like accidentally in his mind somehow, like she was just in his thoughts, and then he becomes aware of it, and then like they're communicating that way, and not necessarily like you said, like tangible, like they're not able to like touch each other or whatever.
yeah.
I don't know. And then Palpatine being there was fucking stupid.
Somehow Palpatine has returned.
Yeah, which like they've now set it up that they can make infinite sequels where Palpatine's the bad guy.
True.
Which
hopefully that keeps happening.
Yeah.
And every time he returns, he's just more and more decayed.
He looked better than he did in the fucking episode 6. I don't know. Again, I don't mind that they brought back the old characters. I just think that they fucked them all up. It's like they kind of made Luke a bitch. Oh
They
no.
did.
Oh no,
I have a really big issue with how he dies because there's so much extended universe stuff that's no longer canon that set up Luke to be this super powerful badass. Like Anakin was always the chosen one, but like Luke essentially fucking just becomes overpowered, honestly. But there's just so much stuff talking about like how strong he is in the Force. And so they did bring him back in episode what the fuck was it? 7. And but like only at the very, very end. And so I was like, oh shit, he's being a hermit on another planet. I bet he's been fucking practicing and I bet he's gonna be powerful as shit. And then
Nope, he's just some scared ass pussy bitch drinking blue milk out of some teats.
yeah,
Yep.
straight from the fucking tap.
But
Exactly.
he's literally on that planet because he's a fucking bitch made pussy man. Like, huh? That's our Luke? That's Luke? He's big scare that the fucking bad guys are back? That's not how Luke was.
It's cool he's self-projected, I guess, but then it put such a strain on him he died. And like that
So
also
stupid.
bothered me.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And you're supposed to interpret it as, oh my god, like he's so powerful. He put such a strain on his body, it killed him. He self-project or force projected millions of light years away. And it's like, oh, okay. I would have rather see him force push Kylo to another fucking planet.
Yeah.
Something fucking crazy like that.
Well, the other thing is, it's just him being afraid of Kylo. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I think technically he was afraid of himself because he was about to fucking yank that kid in his sleep. But I see the vision, but it's stupid. You got to remember, Luke is like, oh my god, I can still see the good in Darth fucking Vader. He's like, Dad, you can still come back to the light side. And he sees the good in Vader, but then there's like a little bit of darkness in Kylo, and Luke's like, nope, you got to kill this kid.
Yeah. Let's take him out back and old yeller him.
Yeah, like the fuck? That's not even who Luke is either.
Yeah.
Also, he's a fucking pilot. Like, pilot something, dude. We don't even see him fly anything in the sequels, does he? I don't think he flies at all.
No, he doesn't leave. No, he doesn't leave. I forget the name of the planet, but he never leaves that planet.
And he doesn't want to give Rey the textbook or whatever because he's fucking big scare. I'm scared.
Exactly.
She's
the
evil.
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, she's evil. Can't give her the Elder Scroll. I'm very scared. And then she just fucking steals it anyway, which he doesn't even realize. And Yoda's like, stole that, she did. And he's like, oh, fuck. He's like, oh, shit, it's burning down. She stole the fucking Jedi texts. They're burning. And then Yoda's like, what's up, bitch? And he's like, oh, no, Yoda, the Jedi texts are burning. And Yoda's like, bitch, I don't give a fuck. I'm dead, first. And second of all, you're the last Jedi. Who gives a shit? I don't, dude. There's so many issues with the sequels, honestly.
You know, I feel like I could write a whole textbook on my grievances with it. Honestly,
I think if I had a time machine, I would just go back in time and make sure those don't come out. I know there's lots of other things you could do, like more stand-up things, but I think in my continuum, in my world, I would. The one thing I would change about the entire universe is that the fucking sequels to Star Wars never came out. Other people are going back.
Fix them, dude. Like, dude. I don't know why they were like, hey, let's have. And granted, it ended up just being 2 directors, but originally it was 3 separate directors for each of the 3 movies. I don't know why anyone was like, hey, let's have 3 directors make their own movies in a trilogy, and let's not make them have like a baseline that they can work off of, and let's not have any talking and any intermingling, so that way they can be 3 interconnected stories. Let's have them all write the characters how the fuck they want to write them and just ruin everything. Let's just do that, because that sounds fun and good.
So, true. I don't know though. Like, oh, was it Ryan? No, not Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, he did 2. Like the second one. I don't know why the fuck I said 2.
It's telling me Ryan Johnson did episode 8.
Yeah. So he did, and J.J. Abrams did 7 and 9. I'm pretty sure. Or did Ryan Johnson do 8 and 9?
No, Ryan Johnson did 8, and then J.J. Abrams did 7 and 9. I thought.
Okay, yeah.
Was it one of the writers then? I don't. It was Ryan Johnson.
But Abrams wasn't originally supposed to do 9. They brought him back to do 9 because it was 3 separate directors for each of the 3. And then the third director dipped the fuck out for some reason.
I think they fired her. Because I think it was a female, and there was a lot of backlash about that. If I'm remembering correctly.
Maybe. No, it was originally Colin Trevorrow.
Who?
Megalol? Exactly.
Brother, who?
How
do you spell his last name? Oh, I found it.
It's tomorrow, but Trevorrow. It's so weird.
His episode 9 was going to be called Duel of Fates, which might have been a better film, actually.
True. They wouldn't have completely scrapped John Boyega, so that also is already sounding better. Apparently, Kylo would have had a new force ability as well. So shout out him just getting new force abilities that have never been seen, because he also does that that force freeze thing, which is always really fucking cool.
Who? Kylo?
Kylo, yeah. Yeah, why did he dip out?
I don't know. Creative differences. So my problem with everything is that, like, George Lucas greenlit all this shit.
Yeah, he greenlit it, but like, how much did he really care? Because I mean, he'd already sold it to Disney. So like, how much greenlighting like was he really doing? You know,
you know what? Fair point. You know, I'm reminded of the final season of Game of Thrones now that you mentioned this. So, fair enough. Once someone else is making your work without you, who fucking cares? Let them do whatever, and they'll look back on it and be like, "Oh, these guys did a fucking terrible job. I liked it better when George R.R. Martin was writing the books."
True. Anyways, that's enough rambling about fucking star whores and our grievances with the star whores. So there is this new horror movie coming out called Clown in a Cornfield, and it is about you guessed it, clown in a cornfield.
Perfect.
So I wanted to talk about this.
So it's Jeepers Creepers, is what you're saying?
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers, the common clown.
I mean, he's funny.
So I don't know a whole lot about this movie, but what caught my eye was the marketing campaign, because it's like the last, like, I don't know, call it like 6-7 years, horror movies have been doing like crazy marketing. So the one that stands out to me, I guess that was actual movie marketing, was Smile. So they started planning actors in like baseball games and stuff that would be positioned by cameras, and they would do like that super creepy, like uncanny smile.
Oh, true. It was the Smile sequel, I think, not the first one.
Ah, okay. Dude, I think both of them did it though.
Oh, maybe. Oh, it's by the director of Trucker and Dale versus Evil? That's fucking cool.
That is cool. You've seen that?
In like 2008.
Hell yeah.
Whenever it came out.
Well, I don't know if I watched all of that, but I have watched most of it at least. So These Strangers also did it. they had actors going around fucking like masked assailants knocking on doors, which could have fucking went horribly wrong. Because if someone comes knocking on my door and they're wearing a mask, there is a very particular way I'm going to answer that door.
True.
So anyways, horror movies have just been doing like really, really cool marketing. So this movie, they have the main character, or at least I guess the villain. His name is Friendo the clown, and I don't think he's actually friendly, based on this being a horror movie.
Shout out millennials.
True. He is driving around towns in a vehicle plastered with marketing. It's like a poster for the movie, and so I think it's the driver and someone else. I'm guessing like another character that looks like a clown, and they're just generally being creepy.
Yeah, that's a good way to get shot. I just watched the trailer. It looks actually decent. Oh, I just fucked up the thing. My bad.
So ironically, it's from the producers of Smile. So I wonder if that has something to do with it. I wonder if they're just like, hey, this worked with Smile, because Smile did pretty well.
True.
So anyways, the movie comes out May 9th. So I'm actually probably going to watch it because the marketing is kind of hooking me. And Smile was actually pretty solid. I put off watching Smile forever because I thought the concept sounded fucking stupid. And both Smile movies blew me away with how good they were. So I did it with Smile 1. I like put it off, and then it finally became free on like HBO Max or something like that. So I watched it because I figured why not. And it blew me away. It was really good. And then Smile 2 came out, and I did the same thing. I was like, oh, that's fucking stupid. Why is there a sequel? And I put off watching it, and it finally came free on like Peacock or Paramount or something like that. So I was like, all right, fuck it, whatever, I'll watch it. And yet again, I'm fucking blown away. And I'm like, why did I put off watching this? So
dude thought he was gonna watch The Terrorizer.
The Terrifier. I did watch those. Those are also really good. But in a different way. And for different reasons.
I mean, that's a cool marketing strategy of like getting it out there. I feel like so many people are afraid of clowns though that it's
they're terrified of clowns. That probably has to be like one of the biggest.
I've seen so many like prank channels of like prank people like scaring people as clowns or whatever, and other people being like, yo, if you fucking take another step, I'm gonna shoot you. And it's like, whoa, calm down there, buddy.
That escalated quickly.
I'm just a dude in a clown costume. I'm just making a funny haha YouTube video. Chill.
Do you remember in like 2016 or so when there was all those clown sightings?
Yeah, I remember that. Was it 2016? If it's 2016, that's crazy because that's the year Harambe got
clapped.
Yeah.
You think it's connected?
It could be. It could be. He was the power holding the clowns back, dude.
It was 2016.
Fun fact, that's also the year that my father passed away.
He also might have been
true. He might have been. True. It's a good point. I didn't consider that. You need to consider all options, right? I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. I remember now. The marketing so Smile had like those people, but they also released characters in Call of Duty. And there's been a couple films that have released characters in Call of Duty along with their film. Dune Part 2 had I think maybe both parts actually had characters drop in Call of Duty. So advertising through video games is getting up there. Call of Duty obviously is a huge one to advertise through because it's Call of Duty.
Yeah, if you wanna advertise through a video game, I feel like Call of Duty and Fortnite, those are your two best bets.
Call of Duty, Fortnite, what else? Maybe League of Legends, but I don't think League has ever done anything like that.
How many people are playing Fortnite?
A lot.
Across like all platforms.
A lot. I think Epic tracks that data. I think you can look it up.
I don't know if this is the. Why is this not loading? Holy shit!
So
I don't know if this is accurate, but this says 792,000. Well, this player that was updated 15 minutes ago says 887,000.
yeah, it says there's 1.2 million active players, which means they've played in the last 30 days. The 24-hour peak is 2.3 million. Total streamers is 912,000. Peak viewers is 651,000. I bet those are easily verifiable. The streamers is across 30 days, and the viewers is the peak viewers for the last 30 days.
That is fucking crazy, dude.
Twitch hours watched is 48,092,199. Yeah, Fortnite is like the largest game. And it's not even close. It seems like.
No.
And so the funny thing is usually in May it's kind of tapers off, by the way, which is funny because that's been kind of the trend, is that in May it kind of tapers off and then it usually pops back up in the winter. I guess people are inside or it's dark out earlier, so they're not playing like outside or whatever. I don't know, because let's be honest, most people who are playing Fortnite are children, so they get done with their soccer game or whatever and they get to go play Fortnite.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the it's a lot, and I'm sure those numbers are accurate because whenever you get on Fortnite, there's all these it's very mobile UI looking. There's all these little tiles, and each tile says how many players are currently playing that activity.
Yeah.
And like Battle Royale and Zero Build, those always have like at least 50,000 players, but it's usually higher.
That's crazy.
Like at all times. Yeah. So there's always like 100,000 people playing BR. What?
Yeah. I was trying to find if you could track Call of Duty's live player count, but only through Steam. Evidently Blizzard doesn't like publicize that.
No, Activision doesn't like to say how many players are on. Epic is always very proud of how well they're doing, so they're very public about that sort of thing. Activision has generally been not very public about most of the things they do, which is why they're kind of a shitty, scummy fucking douchebag company, because for the most part they hide things. I mean, you can look at their patents and stuff, but like they're very not transparent with everything. They're opaque even. It's like people have been talking about the skill-based matchmaking for a couple of years now, and they're just like, no, we don't do that. Oh, we're not going to disclose what we do exactly. And even recently they kind of Activision they started releasing data of your skill-based matchmaking like information, and so Exclusive Ace was pulling an aggregate, so you can only pull your own numbers from the games, and it's only available for 30 days, by the way. So you pull it and you only get to look at the file for 30 days, which you could just download it so then you can look at it forever. But it's really stupid that they give you your information by request. You have to request it, and then it takes like 2 weeks before they get it to you, and then it expires. So like you can't look at it anymore, and you have to make a new request. Like that's the kind of people Activision are. And so, and you can only get your own data. So Ace was having people pull their data and send it to him so he could make aggregates and like graphs and charts and stuff. And I never followed up on that, but that's like the difference. Epic's like, hey, this is how many players are on right now, and they have high player counts, so it's like of course they're willing to show that. But yeah, if you're gonna advertise through a video game, I would say Fortnite, Call of Duty, any sort of bigger game. I would have said World of Warcraft. It had been, a little bigger. I mean, closer to a game's launch is usually better than not. Dude, do you think there's gonna be advertising in GTA, like real ads?
That would be crazy.
They could honestly probably get away with it. They could put like real advertisements in the game and people would still play it.
100%. Well, think about that, but also like the radio stations. Like there's so many areas of opportunity where they could like monetize their fucking game more than they already do.
Right. Well, and
I
so
just hope they don't ruin the online, because if it ends
yeah,
up being good, I could see us playing that for like streaming that even for years, like years to come.
so the thing is like Dank and I would be playing GTA Online right now if they had let us move our migrate our PlayStation characters over.
Yeah.
Because we're both well into level 100, like past level 100, and you know we got money and all that stuff, and I don't know. But my problem is they have to do. I don't know. It's gonna be hard though, because like, when is the online gonna launch? Is there an online? Have they confirmed? I think they confirmed there is going to be online, but when is that launching? And the other thing is we're gonna be on PS5, not.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think they pushed it back? Well, we'll get to that.
We will get to that. That's true.
We'll get to that. But just briefly, real quick, before we get there, you think they pushed it back so they could release PC concurrently with consoles? If they did, I'd be so ecstatic about that.
I'd be ecstatic about that too, because I'm only getting a PS5 again to play that.
True. Dank just bought one today, actually. Yesterday.
So I would much prefer they just release it concurrently. Not releasing it concurrently is fucking loser shit.
Well, they know that they're gonna release it on console only, and then they're gonna release it again on console on PC, and everyone who bought on console is also gonna buy on PC. Like, or all the PC players anyway. Because all the PC players are definitely buying it on console. They're not gonna wait. I haven't talked to a single person who's planning on getting it who's going to wait until it releases on PC to play it.
GTA 5 has generated $8.5 billion in revenue. They can afford to release that game concurrently. They're just double dipping.
It's literally.
Which is some fucking loser shit.
If that's what they do.
I get it. You want to make money, but like $8.5 billion. Like, that is so fucking crazy.
Anyways, let's not get.
Anyways,
let's not.
Yeah, let's
not
say the GTA talk.
Yeah. Huh? We're moving into the GTA talk.
No, I said let's not let's
save it. Yeah, let's save it.
So, do you remember when, what was his name? Alec Baldwin?
Yeah.
When Alec Baldwin shot and killed that guy?
It was a woman.
Oh, was it a woman?
Yeah,
I always heard it was a guy.
Woman.
Okay,
No, it was a woman.
That makes more sense.
I mean, I think usually they say cameraman, but it was a woman behind the camera.
Oh, okay.
Well, so I say that, I don't know if this individual identified as a man. I don't think that's the case though. I think it was a woman.
Okay, that makes significantly more sense. I was looking at the name, and the name does seem feminine, but I wasn't too sure. Oh, yeah, okay. Damn, that's fucking sad. She was only 42 years old.
Was she the director, by the way? Who was she?
Cinematographer.
Okay, so she was head cinematographer, and she's trying to get the shot of him shooting the camera point blank, and she's behind the camera, you know, like this, holding the camera. And
exactly.
And he puts the gun up and just goes bang, which there's a lot of issues there. You know, there's 4 rules in gun safety, and one of the more important rules is don't point a gun at anything you don't intend to destroy, which, you know, would mean killing someone.
Well, but here's the problem with that though. Like, you're shooting a movie, so like, if that's what he's supposed to do in that scene, that's what he's supposed to do.
Okay, so so everyone made mistakes that day, and you're never gonna change my mind. Everyone was at fault. The woman who died was at fault. Alec Baldwin was at fault. The fucking props department guy was at fault. Everyone who was on that set that day is at fault for what happened. We're talking about Rust, by the way.
True, the movie is called Rust, not to be confused with the video game. It is completely different.
Although they're rather similar. There's guns and dirt. Sand even.
Yeah. There you go. Same thing, essentially.
Exactly. It's coarse and gritty and gets it all over. So like I said, there's the issue of gun safety, of just don't point a gun at anyone. Least of all a loaded gun, which that's another rule of gun safety, is treat all firearms like they are loaded. Right?
Well, all right. So in your opinion, then, should the scene have not played out with him pointing the gun at the camera?
I don't think there should have been anyone behind the camera.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
Here's the problem. There was live ammunition on the set. Why was that there? Live ammunition has no place on this on a film set. It just doesn't. It didn't need to be there. I don't know why live ammunition was there. Okay? There should have not been real bullets at all with that shoot a projectile there at all. Not only that, but they're using real guns. He fired a real gun, which is crazy. Like, it gets the feel, but they make really good replicas. They make really good props, and you can buy a gun that shoots blanks only, and it looks real and feels real, but it doesn't shoot a projectile. It's just a blank. It shoots gunpowder, which that still would have injured her, by the way, because it would singe and burn her because it's still a flame coming out of a barrel. But that's not exactly the same. They probably wouldn't have killed her, right? So they had a real gun with real bullets, and then they fired it at her. So prop master is in trouble. Whoever put the live ammo there is in trouble. If you told me that this was a hit on her and it was supposed to look like an accident, I would believe you, because that's what it looks like. Honestly, it looks like they set her up to, like, as a, like, someone had a hit on her and they wanted to make it look like an accident. Because prop master should have checked the gun, but he hands the gun to Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, if he was paying attention to his life at all, should have also checked the gun. He should have opened the cylinder and checked that it was empty, if it was supposed to be empty, or made sure that each cartridge was a blank. You can tip a revolver up and you can see them on the side, and you can see if they're blanks or not, because you'll see the actual bullet, right? And so there's prop bullets, but like when you look at the casing, like, they look different, right? So he should know that what he's looking at, right? And the fact that they just were like, hey, we don't want to do a prop bullet, just put a real bullet in there, whatever, and then they hand him a loaded gun and he doesn't even think to check it, is insane. So, like, prop master's in trouble, he's in trouble, camera woman's, well, she's dead, but she's also in trouble, because why the fuck would you be like, hey, it was her idea, by the way, it was her idea to be like, hey, you're gonna shoot the camera, like boom, you're gonna shoot the camera, it's gonna be a sick shot, dude, it's gonna be so cool, let me stand right behind the lens.
Do you know the filming was in New Mexico, by the way?
Yeah, I know. Yep. Most filming is, because we give huge fucking tax breaks to movies and other films. That's why Breaking Bad is here, actually. The only reason Breaking Bad is here is because of the tax breaks. It was supposed to be set in California.
Also, fun fact, the armorer, Gutierrez Reed, ended up being charged with tampering with evidence. She also was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Good.
And she was sentenced to 18 months in prison.
I think she should have done more, and I think Alec Baldwin should have served time. It was technically an accident, but it was negligent on his part, and therefore I think he's not guilt-free. I don't know.
Yeah,
put some
if
more.
He would have bothered to check.
Put some respect on guns, dude. They are, at the end of the day, they are weapons, and they can kill you quite easily, in fact.
So would you, if I handed you an airsoft gun and I was like, hey, this is an airsoft gun, would you still check it like it was a real gun?
Yes. But what does it look like? Is it clear? Because if it's clear plastic, I might not check it. But if
no, it looks like a gun.
if it looks real, I'm checking it. I'm dropping the mag. I'm checking the chamber. If you hand me a gun ever, I'm keeping it pointed in a safe direction. But you know, I've grown up in an environment where, holy shit, that was some loud fucking thunder.
I could hear that. It's still going on.
True. I'm glad the power didn't go out. Holy shit, that would have sucked. The dude, it's just one of those things that like I've grown up around firearms and I've been around firearms my whole life, that those rules are just like ingrained. Like I don't ever put my, like Aaron will hand me a toy gun and I am keeping my finger outside the trigger guard. Like it's just how you handle firearms, because it literally will save your life by not being retarded.
True, it would have saved her life if he would have checked.
It's not, I mean, to an extent, yes, but like also just like he should have been like, okay, I don't mind shooting the camera, but like, can you not be right behind the camera? Can we put on a tripod? Like that. I don't see how their best option. They're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stand here and hold the camera. Like that's the best option for you?
Well, because it shouldn't have been a real gun and it shouldn't have been live rounds.
I don't care. It's like one of those things that like, are you gonna shoot a bow at someone who's behind a camera to like hit the apple off their head? Like I don't care. They should have put it on a tripod. There's nothing she was gonna do holding the camera. I mean, maybe it was on a tripod and she was just standing behind it, but there's no reason for her to be behind the camera for this take. Like, hey, let's maybe not do that. And I think it was on the first take too that this happened, by the way.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it would be more forgivable if he shot the gun like 5 times and it didn't shoot, and then on the 6th time it did. Because then it's like, okay, well, why was there a live round mixed in with the not live rounds?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think
that is
the other thing is
wild.
if it hadn't been on the first take, he might have checked the gun like, oh, I shot a cartridge. When I pull the hammer back, it's gonna rotate and you're gonna see the empty cartridge or whatever, like that's blown up, you know, even if it's a blank, it'll be expanded and it'll be an empty hole. And it's like, okay, well, maybe we want the bullet looking cartridge to be there. So then he would unload it and then reload it. And, you know, maybe that could have saved her life. But the fact of the matter is that there was a loaded one in the chamber and he blasted her.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not surprised they're putting the film out though, because it costs money, but at the same time, it is kind of like one of those things that like a tragic thing happened and it's slightly disrespectful to put it out. I think probably
so the funds that come from it are being paid to the family of the victim. That's
good. I mean that's a good thing.
The bad news is it's not making a lot of money. So it only released in 115 theaters and it's estimated to have only made $25,000.
Yeah, well, so
far.
Again, because I'm around firearms, all the Reddit forums and like all like Twitter and everywhere I look and I see buzz about it, almost everyone is like, I'm not gonna see that because I don't support Alec Baldwin because he's a criminal and he should be in prison for shooting and murdering her. And that's like the general consensus, is even if the movie is benefiting like her family or whatever you said, it's still like people don't want to support it because Alec Baldwin is in it, and like they've just like they don't want to support him ever again for any reason. Because he basically got the equivalent of a slap on the wrist, and for what? For murdering someone. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I mean, again, it's like I understand though, like everyone was at fault that day. Like I'm not putting it just on him, but like he probably should have done some sort of prison or some sort of, he should have served some time, like I don't know, longer than whatever. I don't think he served any time at all. I think he was just like pardoned, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like probably everyone there that day should have been in trouble. Maybe not the guy who gets the coffee, unless he's the one who planted the fucking bullet there. But you know, some people should have paid for it. Not just the. You said it was just the prop. The armorer is what they are calling him. It was just him.
It's a female, but yeah.
Oh, her. The fact that I still don't know how there was live ammunition there. That's the craziest thing to me. You can easily make a bullet look like live ammunition without it doing anything. It could just be a case with a round in it. There could be no powder, no primer. I don't know. The whole thing is just controversial, and it's fucking stupid, and it shouldn't have happened, but it did. That sucks. It's not doing good though. If it's for her benefit or whatever.
Yeah. Well, so there's a lot of. I'm assuming the term PVOD means pay per view or per view on demand. I'm guessing, and so it's like it's going to come to streaming, and so essentially the main revenue from the movie will come from PVOD and not theaters. PVOD usually sees distributors get 80% of the revenue back, while in the domestic box office it's a 50-50 split for exhibitor and distributor rental. And so it sounds like, I'm guessing, like no one's collecting money on the movie. I think they're giving it all, which, like, honestly, as it should be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's lots of negligence going on there. Dude, I'm looking at the timeline of events too. Lots of weird shit happened. So like the Alec Baldwin himself ended up suing so Alec Baldwin ended up suing the armorer and several other crew members for negligence, but he also got sued by, I fucking lost it. Hold on.
Dude, it's been a whole crazy
the
wild
script
thing.
Supervisor. So this was like one of the first things that happened after the death. Obviously, the script supervisor sues Baldwin and the producers. That was in 2021, November 17th of 2021, and so it was like 2023 that Baldwin sued the. So a year later, November 11th of 2022, he sued the armorer and several other crew members.
If you look, I don't know about recently, but if you look at any of his older statements about the events that happened that day, he's a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, I saw one statement where he was like, I don't know who was responsible for this, but I know it wasn't me. And like, it sucks because ultimately what you're saying is true. Like, had he treated it like it was a real firearm with real ammunition, then this wouldn't have happened. But it just sucks because, like, it also wasn't supposed to be real.
Right.
So, like, that does suck.
I get that, right? And he's an actor, but, like, I don't know. If you're an actor acting and you're going to be handling firearms, I feel like you should have Keanu levels of fucking experience with them before you start touching them. I mean, you don't need to be doing competitions and stuff, but like you need to I think if there's a gun, we need to make like the new fucking Chekhov's gun? We need to make the new Chekhov's gun instead of a gun being introduced in I think Chekhov's gun is like a gun that's introduced needs to be fired before the climax or something like that. We need to make a new rule that if there's going to be guns, everyone involved in the production needs to go take like a firearms training class or something.
Yeah.
it's dumb. Maybe just everyone needs to go take a firearms training class, just universally, every single person in the world.
Specifically, serial killers.
Yeah. I think generally speaking, serial killers like to get personal with their victims and aren't generally shooting them. They're usually doing weird things to people, like strangling them or cutting their flesh off or sucking on their toes. Oh, wait, that's just me. Or I'm just kidding. weird things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyways.
moving on. So in the streamerverse, there's been lots of controversy right now involved with one of the bigger streamers. His name's Dr. Lupo. He was involved in a 100K chess tournament, and this, I almost called him a name. I'm gonna refrain from doing that.
No, you can.
This gentleman, well, it wasn't gonna be a slur or nothing, but I just wasn't gonna attack his character. Anyways, so he was accused of cheating in the tournament. Actually, hold on. Let me break down the whole fucking timeline. So on April 30th is when he cheated, at least the first time. So on the 30th into May 1st, he started getting accused of cheating on Reddit. And so I'm assuming he was streaming the event. I actually don't know for sure, but from what it seems like, it sounds like he was streaming the event.
He was streaming the event. So the thing is he's playing chess, right? And he's he's played chess before, and he's ranked, like, I don't know how they do the ranking, but his ranking was like 900 or something, like 975 or something. And he's playing against a player whose ranking is like 2100 or some shit like that, and he's winning. And usually the chess rankings are pretty accurate. I don't. So those numbers are probably not the exact numbers, by the way. Those are approximate numbers from what I remember reading in the article. He was doing kind of poorly at first, and then all of a sudden he started making moves that like were the best possible move he could make in the situation. And he went from like making a bunch of mistakes to literally making the best possible move in each move. So I think it was pretty obvious at that point that he was cheating.
Yeah, based on their elo, and how much higher the other person was, there was a 2% chance of him winning that match, and he won.
Oh yeah.
So the 30th into May 1st, he starts getting accused of cheating on Reddit and I think in his chat, which is kind of funny.
It is hilarious.
And so he starts denying it and giving like BS excuses on the first and into the second. And he finally, on May 2nd, owns up to cheating. So at the time of the recording of this episode, that was just 2 days ago.
Yeah. Well, so
he finally owned up to it.
He initially said that he was going to drop out of the tournament because people were, he just said he was going to drop out. He didn't actually really say why, but he was like, I want to keep it fair. I'm going to drop out, which sounds like an admission of guilt. But he hadn't admitted that he was cheating yet. He was still denying it at that point. And then the actual committee that puts it out or whatever, chess.com or whoever the fuck they are, was like, yo, we've disqualified Dr. Lupo and we've banned him for cheating and using third-party software or whatever.
Yeah, they full on
which is
shit.
Yeah, and then so after they made a statement, he's like, well, okay, well, I wasn't cheating. I was watching the stream. I was watching the overall stream, and the commentators were talking about what move they would make or whatever, and I was just playing the moves they were saying, and like, that's bad. I'm sorry.
He was trying to say he had a chat window up and he was just listening to advice.
Yeah, and so that was the whole thing. And then he didn't hold on to that for too long because it was pretty obvious he was just cheating. So he was finally like, all right, guys, I'm sorry. I did it. And actually, that was what, May 2nd, I guess, was like when all this started, like when he admitted he was actually cheating. And he streamed that day. Did you know that?
No, but I'm assuming they fucking tore into him.
So first of all, he made an apology video, which was, he didn't look at the camera at all while he was apologizing. And he was like, oh, I know I'm like the big like anti-cheater guy in Tarkov or whatever. I always play Tarkov and I'm like really against cheating in Tarkov. And he's like, and then I go and cheat. He's like, I knew better. Is like a bad, I'm like, he's like, I'm sorry or whatever. And he's like, I should have, my integrity should have meant more to me, blah, 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 et cetera, whatever. Apology. It was kind of like a half-assed apology, I feel like. I mean, it felt to me more like he was trying to save face than actually apologize. But the one thing he did that I kind of respect him for is that he told his mods not to ban anyone talking shit to him that day. And he's like, everyone's going to be talking shit to me and I deserve it.
That actually is a little commendable.
It didn't look like he was reading chat though.
Probably not. Dude, it's kind of hard to read chat though when you're a bigger streamer.
His chat moves pretty quick and it was flying that day. Cause I was like, no shot, this dude's streaming. I clicked on it and everyone's just like, you're a bitch, you're a cheating scum. Like, and like every comment, I was just like, God damn, this dude's getting roasted. And I was like, why aren't the mods? I was like, this is probably too much to moderate, I guess. And then I saw his apology or whatever, where he's like, yeah, just like, don't, he like was like, don't ban anyone, just let them fucking say whatever.
Whips fucking ban them.
Yeah, Whips fucking ban him. He was like, don't ban anyone, just let them talk shit to me because I deserve it. So I don't know. Might be a career-ending catastrophe, honestly. Cheating.
I'm really curious, but because that just kind of opens up a whole fucking Pandora's box of issues. Like, had he been cheating in Tarkov? Tarkov has a huge fucking cheating problem, and he was always super against it. And sometimes people will fucking like self-project. So
yeah, well, that and the self-report. It, not only that, but there's the other thing that people have mentioned. They're like, you know what? All his charity streams start making a lot more sense because he would be doing like a charity event, and then he'd be like really killing it that day. And then they're like, oh, maybe he was cheating at this event, and the event doesn't care because, they have a big name, they have a big creator, dude. Yeah. So one thing that's crazy is Marathon just pushed out their like gameplay reveal, and Dr. Lupo was their biggest creator that they had at the event.
Oh, rip
as fuck, dude. Yeah, that's so I mean, they had some bigger Destiny kids there who are like in Destiny.
Yeah.
But Lupo plays everything, right? So you want a big name like Lupo, or someone who's going to be playing a lot of things like Queso or someone, not fucking like just a Destiny kid. Like, yeah, in the Destiny directory, they're number one all the time, but they're still only polling not great numbers compared to the thousands of people that are watching Dr. Lupo, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what's with people and doctor in their name and then fucking having controversy.
Doing bad shit.
Yeah, dude. Better change your name to fucking Dr. Hitman.
Yeah.
We know the controversies are there. We know they're there. Dude, I don't know. So what I want to know is he gonna have, so what he did I don't think is nearly as bad as what Dr. Disrespect was accused of doing.
I agree with that.
But
it does kind of suck.
But so
because
Lupo,
it was a 100K charity stream. Like,
was it a charity stream though? Because I think it was 100K he could win 100K.
Or I'm sorry, yeah, it was a 100K tournament. Sorry. And it was a 100K tournament.
And that's one of those things. I don't think he needs 100K. So like, he's cheating for money that he doesn't need.
Yeah, it's not as bad as what Dr. Disrespect did, but or what Dr. Disrespect was accused of doing, but it definitely is not good. I'm curious how this is going to fare for his career. I wonder if he's going to get like berated on end and then end up retiring or stepping away, or is it going to be like a short-lived berating and he bounces back?
I don't know. And the thing is like, have Ninja or Tim said anything? Because like Tim the Tatman and like Ninja and like Courage JD are all like have played with Lupo like a bit,
Yeah.
like playing like Fortnite and stuff. And so I think he might have even played Warzone with them a couple times. He's played with them a few times. Like they're friends. Like how is that gonna look in that? Like I want to know what other streamers, like big streamers, think of him now, because like I don't know.
So Asmon Gold responded, but I don't think anyone else has.
Damn. Well, Asmon responds to everything. He's like controversy king. He's fucking view farming all the time on fucking controversy and shit. I don't know. It's unfortunate to see someone like Dr. Lupo do that. Although personally I never really cared for him.
Yeah. It's just crazy to think about. Like that if you're willing to, because here's the thing. So he ended up saying he's so used to being the best at video games, and so he wasn't that great at chess, and it was bothering him. He has like a fragile ego, and so he just couldn't handle not being the best, so he started cheating.
Chess isn't even a video game.
But here's the thing, it's for $100,000. You don't need that money. It's not a video game. Just take the L. If you're not good at it, it is what it is, dude. So I feel like he's been cheating for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and state that. I feel like if you're willing to cheat in a tournament for $100,000 and something you're not good at, where is that line?
Yeah. If you told me that he's been cheating, I'd believe you. Also, I've watched him a few times. I don't actually think he's that good. Like, I don't want to pat myself on the back or anything, but I think I'm better than him at like games we've both played.
Yeah.
Like, he's not like a ninja level player in Fortnite, you know? He's not like going out and like absolutely destroying people. He's like a Tim the Tatman level player. Like, he's not amazing. He's not bad. He's definitely above average, but I wouldn't say he's the best. Does he really say that about himself? Or
yeah,
did he say
that was in one of the statements he made. Yeah.
That's crazy. Dude, could you imagine thinking that about yourself?
It kind of points you in the direction of thinking he probably has been cheating for a while then. Honestly.
It honestly, it really does. If he said that, like, it's like, yeah, I'm cheating. Of course I'm better than everyone. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Because I've watched him and he plays a lot of stuff. So like a game I play all the time, I'm probably better at him then. But like, he's not as good as Dank. And Dank's in like top 1%, I would say, of COD players.
Mm-hmm.
And to be the best, you have to at least be in the top 1%. And he's definitely not better than Dank. But I'm pretty sure I'm better than him. So I don't know, dude. And I'm just above average. So get fucked.
Let's shift a little bit. Microsoft is raising their prices on fucking everything.
Well, hardware prices.
No, everything. Like even the first party games.
Well, so
first party games, and they're also Microsoft's also raising the prices of software. So like Microsoft 365, Office 365, and whatever the fuck Dynamics 365 is. I've never heard of that, but
I don't know. So I mean, it makes sense in the regard that, you know, we're experiencing insane inflation right now, hyperinflation even. The price of like the actual like value of a dollar is not doing great. So to charge the same number for things, they're just losing money by not doing it. I think we're going to see Microsoft is such a large corporation that they sell things everywhere all the time. I think seeing them do it is just the beginning of a trend of where we're going to start seeing a lot of companies doing it. Nintendo raised their prices They're asking $80 for first party games, digital copy, and $90 for physical copy. Which is kind of insane, especially when you understand how the physical copies are going to work from now on like Switch 2. I don't know if you know how they work, but basically the cartridge is a key and you put it in your Switch and it downloads the game from the internet onto your console, but you can't run the game unless the cartridge is in the console.
You want to know some fun fact, stupid shit about that? Brooke and I just actually played, Mario Kart today on the Switch 1.
Yep. They
And,
already have the systems in place. Yep.
they have already implemented that.
Well, so
it popped up some weird shit.
who does this cartridge belong to? Who's providing this game? Yeah. So right now the games are on the cartridges, right?
Yeah.
But when Switch 2 comes out, the games are just going to be a key, like a token, that you have to have in the console to play the game you downloaded. Which
there's really no point in getting physical anymore.
Zero. There's zero point. Yeah. Unless you like having it on your like bookcase or something, just buy an empty case. Like it's basically what you're buying, except there's more rigmarole to it. You can lose it. Your child can eat it and die. I mean, they're supposed to be taste awful, but like your game is still a digital game. You just think it's a physical copy because you have something you can hold, but you're still downloading the game from the internet. So it's really stupid how they're doing that. But like I said, I just think we're gonna see this trend of companies who are going to be raising prices. Rockstar has already announced that GTA is going to be what I think they said they were thinking about $80.
Did they announce something? I thought that was just rumor.
I don't think they announced it officially, but I think they said something like we're considering the price point for GTA. It might only be rumors, but I feel like someone from Rockstar mentioned that they were thinking about, if not saying officially that's the price, but they were thinking about having it priced higher than what are we paying now for a game? $69.99 for next gen games. So,
yeah, it shot up to 70 and
here's my thing. I don't know if maybe a lot of people don't remember this because they're not as old as I am. I'm pretty sure N64 games when they first came out were $80 a pop. And
they were.
Sega Genesis games were also $80 a pop.
Yeah, they were.
So games actually dipped in price dramatically for a while. I think PS1 games were like $40, which was a huge Sega and Nintendo were like $80, and PlayStation came in and they're like half the price. Boom. What's up? We're PlayStation. Yeah. So, it's not the first time we've seen an $80 price tag, and $80 today is worth a hell of a lot less than it was in the 90s. It's funny because I was just thinking about how I have been giving my nieces and nephews $100 for graduation when they graduate high school, right? But we've had so much inflation now, like I'm kind of thinking like maybe I should give them like 150 instead of 100.
You should probably give them 1,000.
True. Dude. I mean, like $100 is not much money anymore. Like
no, it's really not anymore.
I probably spend $100 daily. Flex. Yeah. So I don't know. Microsoft raising prices for everything. It makes sense. And a lot of things they're only raising like $10. At least a lot of the Xbox peripherals, like the controller, they're bumping up $20. I think for the Pro, like the biggest Pro controller. Like I think the regular controller, they're only bumping like $10. Their headset, they're bumping like $10. I think.
I have some of the price points.
Yeah.
So the biggest, Xbox Series S is going up $80.
Yeah, I was gonna say the biggest jumps are the consoles, and they're jumping significantly. What's the Series X jumping?
The 1 terabyte's jumping from 500 to 600, and then the 2 terabyte Galaxy Black Special Edition is going to be $730.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy for a console.
I'm so glad, dude. So I don't remember. It wasn't even like a Black Friday sale. It was just like some random sale in the middle of whenever. It wasn't Black Friday. It wasn't whenever. It might have even been a mistake. But I got up one morning and the Xbox Series X 1 TB was $300. I don't even remember where it was. I think it was Best Buy or something. It was $300, and I saw that, and they were normally, I think they were still like $4.99 or something at that point. And I saw that, and I was like, it's never going to be cheaper. Not even like in a few years. I was like, there's no shot it's ever going to be cheaper. I'm buying one right now just to have one. And I'm glad I did, because it literally has never been cheaper than that. It's never been that price again either, by the way. And now it's fucking more expensive. It's actually going up in price, despite the fact that it's halfway through its life cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. You know, what did you say the price point was for it now?
For the Series S, it's
Series X.
It says, Series X. It's going from 500 to 600 for the 1 TB.
Yeah, that's the same price as the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
The disc drive version. That's insane, but I feel like we're gonna start seeing other companies follow suit. Other companies are gonna start raising prices.
Nintendo raised, Microsoft just announced they're raising. Sony's definitely gonna follow suit, unless they want to pull what they ended up doing with like the beginning of, what was it, the PS4, where they sold at a loss
that was
for a while.
That was the PS3.
Oh, was it the 3? Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, was it really? Because that was expensive as fuck.
Yeah, they were losing money on the PS3 because it cost them like $800 to make it, and they were selling it for $600.
That's crazy. Yeah, unless they pull something like that, they're gonna follow suit.
So the next thing is big tariff guy, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sure that has some part to do with it, but the other thing is that, did they raise Game Pass? Are they raising the price of Game Pass? Because I didn't see anything saying they were. So I don't think they are. So with raising their own price of games, Game Pass becomes like more of like a bargain. And the other thing I think that's interesting is they just got so much praise for Oblivion being $50 instead of $60 or $70, and then not even a week later, they're like, you know what? Let's put all the prices up, all of them, across the board, everything. I don't know. I saw several people praising them for releasing Oblivion at a reasonable price, and them being like, yo, Xbox, if you keep this trend up of making things like you're undercutting the competition, you're going to be killing it. And then, I don't know, I saw like 3 or 4 people do it, and then they're like, hey, we're raising the prices on everything. And it's like, oh, well, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I bet it was in the same board meeting. They're like, hey, how much should we sell Oblivion for? And some dude was like, I don't know. It's a remake of a almost 20-year-old game. How about like $50? They're like, yeah, that sounds fair. All right. And what about everything else? What about the bottom line? And they're like, yeah, we should raise everything like fucking 10 to 20%. I'm like, sure. Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah, GTA 6, 100%, it's gonna cost 80 or more.
Okay,
so here's the thing: if it's better than GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, I am okay with paying that.
Yeah. So here's the thing: I'm okay with paying that for GTA. I'm not okay with paying that for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Breath of the Wild remake, by the way, or not? It's not even a remake. It's just like a Switch 2 enhanced edition.
Do you own it on the Switch 1?
Yeah.
You only have to pay $10 to get it then.
That's not even worth it to me. That game's good, but it's not that good.
Nintendo's just kind of a asshole when it comes to their prices, though. I had been waiting to get Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom
they never
for years.
They never put anything on sale. The best thing they've done recently is that voucher thing where you can spend $100 and you get 2 first-party titles.
Yeah, you told me about that, and that's what made me get Tears of the Kingdom.
That's been their best deal, because you spend $100 and you get 2 $60 games. You could get 2 $40 games if you're stupid, but I don't know why you would pay more for 2 $40 games instead of just buying them at $40 than getting two $60 games that never go on sale. But I mean, whatever. Some people do, I guess. Their first party games never go on sale. My issue with their first party games is, for some reason, nobody treats them like Ubisoft. Nobody treats them like Activision. Nobody treats them like any of these companies that are cranking games out like every year. And the reason that it's crazy about that is because I go and I buy these Nintendo games and I play them for a couple hours and I'm done with them. Like, either I'm bored, either I ran through all the content, either I saw everything. And it's like, you're paying a lot of money for not a lot of experience. It's a waste of money. And it's not a great experience either. Most of the time I play one of those Nintendo games and I'm not wowed by it. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't know why people play these. These are fucking stupid. Even Pokemon has gotten to the point where, like, the last Pokemon game, I beat it. And after I beat it, I was like, I don't even know why I bought both copies of this. This game's not even good.
That's been happening to me pretty much since my introduction to Nintendo. So I 100% agree. And I definitely have noticed it with like Mario Kart and Mario Party. Dude, the Mario Party that came out for the Switch, at least I think.
Well, which one? Because there's 3.
There's 3 now.
There's the original Mario Party that they put out on Switch, which was brand new, but it only had 4 boards, which is like I think when I was reading about
Super Mario Party.
Yeah, I think when I was reading
about
that,
that fucking sucked.
Yeah, I think when I read about that, that was the least amount of boards that a Mario Party has ever launched with. Was 4. And then they made another Mario Party, which was like the GameCube and Nintendo 64 ones, like mashed together as one game.
Which Superstars, I think.
Yeah, if you're gonna spend money, that's the one to get. And then they released one recently that's really should have been an expansion for the first Mario Party that came out on Switch.
Yeah.
But it's just a brand new standalone game, and they still want fucking $60 for it. And the thing is I can't think of a Nintendo game. Like, I can't think of any point in time where I've been like, wow, this is an amazing game.
Yeah.
Like, I've enjoyed some of them. Like, I enjoyed Breath of the Wild. I enjoyed, I've enjoyed games, but like, I don't know, like, thinking back on it, my favorite Nintendo like game ever was like Pokemon Red, or like the older Pokemon games on Game Boy. Those were worth your money, and those were good games, and I would still play those. But for the most part, Nintendo's just like, I don't know. Look at how strong their consoles are, and just understand that that's what they're doing with their games too. Not only are their games gimped by their weak ass watered down consoles, but they're watered down themselves. Like, the game is just as watered down as the console, but then it also has to fit on that watered down console.
Well, they get away with doing it though, so they're never gonna stop.
Dude, it's honestly insane to me, because like, I think Super Smash Brothers Melee was like the last game where I was like, this game is phenomenal. It's honestly GameCube was Nintendo's like golden days, right? They had Metroid Prime, right? Metroid Fusion. I don't fucking know. No, Fusion was a Game Boy game. Metroid Prime, which was phenomenal. 3D Metroid game. It was amazing. They had Super Smash Brothers Melee, right? They had that was when like 2K and other companies were putting out all these great games too that they were on there. It had Metal Gear Solid 2, which, was amazing. Like, GameCube had a lot of good games on it. And then, everyone like Wii was okay, but the fact that the Wii was just weaker than the GameCube, I don't know. And then the trend has just continued. I'm still buying a Switch too. Like, I still bought it. I bought it, right? I paid for it. Like, dude, maybe I'm the reason Nintendo. I single-handedly,
problem.
dude. Well, it's people like me because it's like there have been some gems, and generally there's not games that I don't like. Like they're not usually putting out things where I'm just like, this is dog shit, but they're usually putting out things that I'm like, I probably shouldn't have bought this. That's the thing. Is like it's usually not that oh, this game's ass. Like if they would just put out an ass game, I'd be like, all right, I'm done. I'm not buying this shit anymore. But they don't put out an ass game. They put out a game where it's like after you beat it, you're just like, that wasn't really worth it
for this.
Yeah, you're just like, that wasn't really worth it to me. So that's how they get you. I think they're just, it's like a fucking drug or something. They're selling you an experience that's like pleasurable enough, but it's not like amazing. So like I don't know.
Yeah,
There are hella Nintendo glazers though, and I look at these kids and I'm just like, what are you talking about? This game is not that good. I don't know why you think this is the best game you've ever played. You must not have played, like if you've only played Nintendo, maybe that's the secret. Maybe if you only played Nintendo games, that's the secret. Or maybe
I think that is the secret.
Maybe it's if you are a casual gamer, it's amazing because it's not a long experience on Nintendo. So maybe you only have time to play for an hour every night after work. You sit down. Breath of the Wild feels massive if you only have an hour to play every night after work. You sit down, you're like, what the fuck was I doing? You don't even remember what you're doing. And then you're just like exploring for an hour and you're like, hell yeah, this was a lot of fun. I think that's those are the people that they're like aiming at, because when you or I sit down to play a game, we're in it. We're like, I'm going to play this fucking game and we're going to sit there and we're going to play it. And then you sit there and like, I rate games like how many sit downs do I get out of it? If I sit down to play your game twice and I'm done, it was too short. If I sit down once to play your game and I'm done, it was incredibly too short. Like,
yeah,
dude, I don't know. That's a problem they need to figure out in the future, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, so, and I think since I grew up not playing Nintendo, it's kind of, I'm a little bit more hesitant to dive in. If it wasn't for the Soulsborne exclusive, and if it wasn't, and again, this is me being part of the problem, if it wasn't for the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom $10 upgrade thing, I wouldn't get the Switch 2. But because of all three of those things, well, I guess both of those things, I am gonna get the Switch 2, because if I'm gonna play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I want to play it the best way I can play it.
Yeah,
and then
makes sense.
That Soulsborne game is going to be an exclusive, and if Bloodborne is any indication, if it's an exclusive, it's gonna fucking stay that way.
Yeah, it probably will. And I trust From Software so much more than I trust Nintendo.
Yeah.
So I think they'll produce something good. The only reason I bought a Switch 2 was literally for that game, and the only reason, I mean, that and so I could play with Ninjahitman on that game. Like us playing that together is the only reason I bought a Switch 2. The kids wanted a Switch 2, but like they probably are gonna play it as much as they play the Switches, which is not that much. I don't know. It's Nintendo's got a hard, rocky road ahead of them. Honestly, if their next console, dude, honestly, I almost feel, and I felt like this for a while, but I almost feel like Nintendo should stop making consoles and start developing like exclusively for PC or something.
I feel like in the long run that would make them more money.
Probably.
Yeah, you don't get the console sales, but you get sales from people that weren't willing to buy your console.
Well, the thing, so Nintendo, what did they start out doing? I feel like it was playing cards, but I think playing cards was actually Konami.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Nintendo's been around a long time. They've been around since before televisions were a thing. I'm pretty sure.
That's funny.
And I think they made like gambling machines or something.
No, you're right. Nintendo began in 1889, manufacturing and selling hand-painted Japanese playing cards.
There you go. Um,
That's crazy.
yeah, so they've been around for so long, and I feel like they've kind of always wanted to be like the wacky, goofy, like gimmicky guys, and they've always been the wacky, goofy, gimmicky guys. You know, the Wii did so well that PlayStation tried to copy it with the Move, and the Move used actual like mocap technology, and to me, I think it was more precise than the Wii's shit, because it used an actual camera instead of a fucking sensor that you could imitate by using candles. Yeah, I don't know. The like, think about how the N64 controller looks. That shit looks stupid.
All of their controllers have looked like pretty funky. I think.
I really liked the GameCube controller, but when you actually go back and use it, that controller's ass. It was okay when my hands were smaller. But now that I have adult hands, that controller sucks. I would rather play on a DualShock, and those controllers are notoriously small and bad. I would much rather play on an Xbox controller. I got a fresh one right there, actually.
Shout out that shelf.
True. That's the Starfield Xbox controller. You know, I was hoping Starfield was gonna be so good. I have the headset too. Match. How do you do this? There you go. It's mirrored or whatever for me, so it looks weird. It's the opposite of how stream is I guess what I should say. I know it's to my right, but it looks like my left.
Do you know that?
No, I don't. I don't know. We'll see how raising prices goes and how
So since we're on Nintendo talk, we'll circle back around to GTA. So Nintendo is suing an accessory maker, which it sucks for that company, but I feel like it's kind of fair from what I've seen. So Nintendo is alleging that they're guilty of 5 counts of trademark infringement, unfair competition, and false advertising, and that its actions violated multiple laws, including the Trademark Act of 1946. And it's using Genki is the company. Nintendo is claiming that Genki is using Nintendo's trademarks to confuse buyers who are likely to impute any shortcomings, defects, or lack of quality in Genki's products to Nintendo itself. And they made a statement on it too.
Basically, what Nintendo is saying is when your submersible vehicle filled with billionaires blows up or implodes rather, due to the failure of their GameCube controller being used to pilot the vehicle, that Nintendo has exonerated themselves from any fault because it wasn't actually a first-party GameCube controller, which wouldn't have failed. It was a dog shit third-party Genki controller. That's what Nintendo is saying. Couple things about the whole thing. Japan is really weird about lawsuits and intellectual property and all that sort of stuff. Like I said, it's like if you don't license it or you don't like nip infringement. This is the way it's been explained to me, and I don't speak Japanese, so I apologize if it's incorrect. The way it's been explained to me though is if you see someone infringing on your, copyrights or whatever, and you don't do anything about that, it's the same as giving them permission to use them. And then in the future, you cannot pursue any legal action against them in that regard. So that's why like Sony and Nintendo always be suing people, because in Japan, I'm pretty sure it's some fucking weird Japanese copyright law bullshit that like if it's something like that. Nintendo,
I don't think it's just Japan, because that was essentially the thing with Schedule 1. That's why they were seeking legal action, was because if they didn't.
Right. Well, so I mean, the story with Schedule 1 is that the parent company of Drug Dealer Simulator has, you know, they're a publicly traded company and they have a duty to their shareholders to pursue that and prevent that from eating into their profits, right? And so to an extent, Nintendo is following that sort of thing. But like I said, there is also some copyright laws in Japan, from my understanding, that are like, if you don't enforce it, you lose the right to enforce it. So they're very on top of that most of the time, it seems like.
Yeah.
What does Genki make? They just make dog shit fucking controllers?
Holy shit. I am currently looking. So
Their
they don't
tag
have
is better products, elevated fun. There's no shot, dude.
they don't have a Switch listing. They're calling it glitch. So
Hell
there's a Genki accessory pack for glitch 2. And that's literally for the Switch.
Wait, hold on. Are they Chinese or Japanese? Human
I
Things
have no
Incorporated.
idea what Genki is.
Copyright Human Things Incorporated. I've seen this company somewhere before. Hold on. We're going on a fucking deep dive here. So it's funny because the word Genki, by the way, in Japanese is one of the words I do know. I don't know what kanji they use to spell it, so maybe it's not the same word, because you can have multiple things in Japanese pronounced the exact same way, but depending on how it's written, it means different things. But generally speaking, when you say Genki, it's like well-being or like healthy. It's like health, essentially. So if you say, like, you would say, like, you would use Genki to be like, I'm healthy. So you'd be like, Watashi wa Genki desu. I am healthy, right? So it's funny that they're called health, basically. I'm not finding anything about this company. So they're registered in the US under a copyright thing. And then the company Human Things Incorporated is, so it's like the company's name is Human Things Incorporated, and they're doing business as Genki. But I feel like I've seen this company doing business as a different company at some point, which is why I was looking into it. There's a bunch of related companies here. I'm not going to click through each one and see if one of those is one of the things, but I feel like I've seen them doing business as other companies.
Yeah. Maybe. Like they've changed names over the years.
Yeah, so it's like they would be it might not be them, but it would be like, say you're Microsoft, right? And you would register like you're Microsoft Incorporated, right? And then one of their companies is Xbox, right? So it's Microsoft Incorporated, and then they're doing business as Xbox. So Xbox would be its own. I don't think Microsoft actually is divided like that, but it would be like, a better way to put it is like, if you file, it's like how you file for, like, so say you're making an LLC, right? You'd be Ninjahitman LLC, right? And then you'd be doing business as, probably not your actual name, you'd be doing business as Between a Rock and a Bald Spot. So that's, makes sense. Yeah, that's how that works. I couldn't find any other companies they've had their name as, so maybe I've just seen them as Genki. But yeah, they make knockoffs of a whole bunch of stuff. They had Xbox and PlayStation and Glitch, as well as Switch. They also had like little signs or something that you could make, like LED signs that you could like put on your bookcase, put on your shelf up here. Yeah. I don't know. Getting sued is kind of, Nintendo kind of be suing people, so
it does seem like Genki might have leaked the Switch too as well.
Hell yeah, they're in big trouble for that.
Yeah, so that might be where the anger is coming from, potentially. I don't know.
I mean, an official leak, I guess, but like, I don't know. Switch 2, people have been talking about the Switch 2 forever. It like, instead of doing something like going from GameCube to Wii, Nintendo did some bullshit where they're like, you know what, let's make a Switch 2. Let's make a second version of the same console. Which I don't know. They do have a track record of doing that, but at the same time they don't. Like when you look at the Nintendo Entertainment Center and then you look at the Super Nintendo Entertainment Center, it's like, okay, there's a 1 and a 2, got it. But then you have the N64, which is completely different. And then you have the GameCube, which is also completely different. And then you have the Wii, which is also completely different. But then you have the Wii U, which was like spiritual successor to the Wii.
Yeah. And like an obvious precursor to the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, the Wii U did drop the motion controls for the most part. There still was like a gyroscope in the thing, but it was more like the Switch is the sequel to the Wii U almost. And then now there's a Switch 2, so it's like the threequel, right?
Yeah.
It's the third one.
It's a trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. There's precedent for it, I guess, in their history, but I still sort of wish they had gone to something else than, you know, I don't know.
It's weird because where else do you go? Do you think they should have like stepped into like the VR realm?
I think they missed the wagon on that. They inspired lots of VR. The Wii is like, without the Wii, would VR even be where it's at right now? I probably would because motion capture, but it's just one of those things that like I feel like they used to be like unique and they're still trying to like hold on to that uniqueness, but now they're competing with like Steam Deck, which like was like, hey, handhelds are selling, let's make one, but it's a PC.
Yeah.
And like there's other PC handhelds and it's like, okay, well, this one runs Windows 11, so I can play Epic or Xbox or Steam. Like I'm gonna pick that over a fucking Switch 2. And not only that, but if you're wanting to do it, you can play Switch games on PC.
Yeah, you can get an emulator.
It's you know, not legal necessarily, but
yeah.
Although there's been mumblings and rumblings about people saying that if you don't which we should have put this on the list and I'm going to talk about it right now anyway. There's been mumblings and rumblings about the fact that if you don't actually own digital software, then you can't, like, if you don't own it when you pay for it, you aren't stealing it when you pirate it.
That's honestly fair, dude.
And so this okay, we're gonna segue into the fact that Destiny, a judge just this week ruled that he will not dismiss the case about Destiny's Red War content being missing from Destiny 2. So Bungie asked for the case to be dismissed, and their proof, the reason that they said that it should be dismissed is that people like Life, which is a Destiny content creator, has lore videos on YouTube. And so they said there's lore videos on YouTube, there's gameplay videos on YouTube, and there's Wikipedia pages where you can read the story. And they said because of these things, the Red War content isn't lost to players. They can still experience it. They just have to go to those things. And the judge said, you're fucking stupid. Those are third-party websites. Someone shouldn't buy a product and be expected to have to go to a third-party website
which is fair
to consume the product that they've purchased. Which, by the way, you can't purchase Destiny 2 anymore. It's free to play. There are things you can purchase which are still in the game. I guess they learned their lesson, but they sunset content. They took content out of the game. You can't play the Red War campaign, which was the vanilla Destiny 2 campaign. And the judge said, I'm not going to dismiss the case. So it's looking like they might settle out of the court. Because they have no chance to get it dismissed anymore. There's a lot of pressure on them, and if it goes to court, it's going to be a class action. So,
and that's what. So What is so funny about that to me is the fact that Bungie literally shot themselves in the fucking foot with the whole sunsetting shit. Um, because had they not sunsetted all that shit, it would have been fine. Like,
Well,
you wouldn't need to rely on the
so
third party thing.
Here's the thing. It's kind of funny because they were under Activision. They were owned by Activision when this happened. And then they split away from Activision. And here's the thing. Activision had World of Warcraft. And they released an expansion called Cataclysm, which drastically altered the entirety of the game. And they sunset some stuff. Now, I don't remember or not if you could, at the time, make a fresh character and not experience the Cataclysm expansion and still play like the vanilla stuff. But I'm pretty sure when Cataclysm happened, you could no longer do that. Like, it was just when you made a new character, you were in a different like starting zone. Like, it was just different. But maybe it was the one after that. I don't know. But at some point they did that, and then Blizzard Activision was like, hey, we're missing content that people have paid for. We should probably do something about that. And so they released Classic Edition, which I'm assuming they're going to re-release Classic Edition again because they've just hit the Cataclysm part in Classic.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so they're going to have Classic. But so
that makes my blood hurt.
Activision was already like, hey, this could be an issue. Let's nip it in the bud. Or maybe there was the starting of an issue and there was going to be a lawsuit and they're like, okay, we'll just give you the content. Bungie, on the other hand, said, hey, we made an alteration to this world, this live service game that we're putting out, and you can no longer play that content at all that you paid for. And we deleted it.
Yep, it's gone.
We
don't even have access to it anymore.
Yeah, it's gone, dude. Ooh, that's the thing. So like they could have saved this whole thing by being like, oh well, we'll just upload it and then there'll be like a separate game even that you launch that it's Destiny 2, but it's like, hey, you're playing vanilla D2. Nope, they completely erased it. So it's they can't put it back if they wanted to. So honestly, Bungie
you played yourself.
They've made some terrible decisions lately. I think being acquired by Activision or partnering with Activision or whatever the fuck that was, renting themselves to Activision for that time was bad because Activision started putting a bunch of things in place for the long run, and Activision is a much larger company and they can afford to fight some legal battles and do some shit. And then they split from Activision because Activision was monetizing the shit out of their game, but then they split from them and monetized more to the point where people are like, dude, I don't even want to play this anymore because you're just farming me for my time on the game and you're farming me for my wallet. I don't even want to play it anymore. Like, I haven't even played in a long time. I used to get on and finish the battle passes. I don't even do that anymore because there's no point, because you get on and you get 3 minutes of a weekly story and then you get off. And so what Daniel and I were doing is we were waiting till the end of seasons to get on to play the entire seasonal story because it was time gated. It wasn't gated by your level or your power or progression of any sort. It was literally gated by in like real world time. So each week they would release another 5 minutes of the story. So we used to get on and play the 1 hour of the story at the end of the season. Well, then they're like, okay, well, we don't like how that's working. We're going to change seasons to episodes. And then each episode so the episodes are shorter overall, but the 3 episodes that make an act is longer than a season. And the episodes are the same time gating, but you can play the entire, like, it's like, I don't know, 6 weeks. An episode's like 6 weeks, and you can play all 6 weeks of the story the first day it drops. And then you can wait.
That's confusing as fuck.
Yeah, then you can wait the 6 weeks or whatever it is, 9 weeks. I don't remember the exact time. You can wait that, and then the next episode drops, and you can play the story for that. And so it's like they're still doing the same they still have the same problem. They didn't fix anything. They just made it so you can consume it at the beginning of the season instead of at the end of the season. And it's still like, when you put it all together, you're like getting like 5 hours of story for a game that like, and that's gameplay time. That's not like 5 hours of cutscenes and shit. It's like 5 minutes of cutscenes, but the gameplay you're getting out of it annually is like 5 hours. So it's a really shitty, and it's still $15 a season or whatever. It's just really shitty, and they still have microtransactions up the ass of all kinds of shit, and it's like they keep changing things so that players who they actively punish players who play more. And it used to be you would get on and you'd grind your materials, and then when something cool came out, you would have enough currency to just go buy it right away. Nope, not anymore. Now everything has caps. You can't have enough currency to buy the cool thing more than one time, maybe, if you even have it, because usually they introduce a new currency. And your new currency is only good for like the season it's in, and then it's not useful anymore. So like you have to
I
get
didn't know
on.
they were doing new currencies too. What the fuck?
Yeah, every season has a new currency, or 2 or 3, depending on how they felt that season. Sometimes, so what they were doing right before the episode started is that you would have a currency you would earn that was like the glimmer equivalent. It was like your weapons parts, right? Which they got rid of weapons parts. They got rid of legendary shards. So you'd get on and you'd earn this one certain currency, and then you would spend that currency to play a different activity, which would give you a completely different currency. And then you would use that currency to buy keys to go open a chest in a third activity. And so you'd play for like an hour to get like one drop, and it's not what you were looking for because they didn't change drop rates at all. And then that's all you could do for the week for that character. You'd have to wait until the next week to do it again, because you couldn't sit there and farm it. And so it's like players who are playing their game all the time were actively getting punished for doing that. So they stopped playing. So the majority of people who play that game are playing it because they just love the game. They love it so much that they don't care that it's taking advantage of them, or that it's abusing them, or that it's punishing them for playing more. They just love the game so much that they're going to play the game regardless.
No matter what.
Yeah. So dude, I don't know. It's whatever, those kids. Anyways, we can go back to whatever I said all I need to say about Destiny, I think.
GTA 6 has been officially delayed. Sad face.
We didn't see that one coming.
May 26th of 2026. I wonder if that date's significant.
52626.
Yeah.
What's the zip code? Is that a zip code? Imagine it's a fucking zip code in Florida.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I don't know. It could be. I'm not a big zip code guy.
True. Located in southeast Iowa. Nope. Well, there you go.
That's where the protagonists are going to be from, I guess.
Yeah.
So jokes on them. It's probably actually going to end up coming out in October of 2026, anyways. Because this happened with Red Dead. Red Dead was supposed to come out in the fall, and then it got pushed back to like I think maybe May, and then it ended up getting pushed back again to October.
It happened with GTA 5 too.
So maybe they're just not good at setting release dates.
I don't know. A lot of games have been doing this thing where they're like, hey, we're gonna launch here, and then they push it back. And logistically thinking about it, it used to be about actual like physical copies, like printing enough versions of the game and putting enough on a supply, like literal logistics of like shipping it to places and having enough copies available for people. That's what it used to be. That would cause gameplay delays, because they'd get pre-orders and they'd be like, oh, we have 1 million pre-orders more than we have printed versions of the game. We have to fill all the pre-orders, and then people are going to come in and buy it day one. So we need overflow on top of that. So logistically, they'd be like, hey, we're going to bump the game back a couple months, or it probably isn't that long, because I don't think it's, I mean, depending on how their factory works or whatever, I don't think it takes that long to print that many, but you know, they're literally printing the game. So that's something that like they would push the street date back because they just need more time to make the game. But I think it's literally they need more time to make the game, as in develop it. Like, I think they were probably really ambitious, and I think I have a feeling that COVID had something to do with it, and the fact that they were getting a lot of work done during COVID and maybe not as much done now because everyone was working from home. I feel like everyone was more productive during COVID.
Probably.
The other thing is maybe they're waiting. So I know that I saw a video recently of them working on motion capture, actually. And so they
Is it the video I'm thinking of?
Yeah, it is. So the other thing is
take all the time you need.
if they're working on things like motion capture still, on the actual motion capture, then
They're pretty behind.
super behind. So they will have like the core gameplay down. They'll have like the core story written and maybe even the lines delivered. But the way they did Red Dead is that they did the motion capture and the lines at the same time. And so a lot of the scenes where you see Arthur doing something, he's doing that in a room wearing motion capture stuff. I'm imitating him picking John up and walking with John on his shoulder. You know, he picked up what the fuck is John Marston's voice actor's name?
The voice actor's name? I have no idea.
Anyways, the voice actor of Arthur Morgan picked up John's voice actor and was like giving those lines and walking with him. And so they mocapped how both of them were moving and their lines. And so, you know, it looked like they were doing motion cap for ambient characters. So hopefully they've already done it for the whole story and all the cutscenes. And they're just working on like background characters or like NPCs, like idle, like radiant things. So I don't know. Hopefully that's the part they're on and they're not actually like working on all the mocap. But like once you do motion capture, you have to, there's a lot that goes in after that. Like you have to render it, you have to, you know, adjust the frames and sync it up and make it look good visually. Because like what you have basically from motion capture is a bunch of dots, and then you have a wireframe connecting them, and then you have to, you know, basically add bones to a 3D model and then add the points there so that the 3D model moves in the way that you want it to. It's a really convoluted and complicated process that like if that's where they're at, no wonder they pushed it back. Although I feel like everyone saw them pushing it back coming. Like that's like, come on. Everyone saw it coming. So the other thing was though is what I was going to say earlier is maybe they pushed it back because if they push it back again, it'll come out when it was supposed to release on PC initially. Maybe they're pushing it back and they'll release it on PC concurrently. Hopefully my epiphany of, oh, they pushed it back for that. Hopefully that's why they're pushing it back. I highly doubt it. I think they're still going to double dip because I don't know why they wouldn't double dip. They're definitely going to double dip.
Yeah. Your epiphany, that would be really nice. I feel like that's not going to end up being the case because I feel like they're going to want to double dip. But I don't know. This is pretty commonplace for them. There we go. So they initially announced Red Dead 2 to release in, what does that say? Spring of 2018. Or that was, hold on, that was the second announcement. So it was initially supposed to come out in 2017.
Okay.
And then, the initial release was fall 2017, and then they delayed it to May of 2017. Sorry. All right. So it was supposed to release fall of 2017, and then in May they announced it was coming out spring of 2018. And then in February, they were like, just kidding, it's going to come out October. And then it finally came out. So
that's almost identical to what we've seen for GTA 6 so far.
Yeah.
They announced it'd be in the fall.
Yeah.
And then it's May, and they're like, hey, actually, we're going to do it next year, in 1 year from now. And then in February, they're going to be like, oh, sorry, it's actually October. Can you imagine they push it back again? What if it's in 2 years? What if this game just doesn't come out? What if we get Elder Scrolls 6 before GTA 6?
Oh god, there's no shot of that.
You don't
At
know
least at least we have a trailer for GTA 6. There has been fucking nothing shown for Elder Scrolls 6.
that. Did you like that post I put of some guy being like, "Oh, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be set in Somerset because
Oh yeah.
it's where the high elves live, and it just makes the most sense after Skyrim." I'm like, okay, well, the name of the game has been out for a couple of years, and it's called Hammerfell, but you know, maybe
That
it'll
was
be
funny.
maybe it'll be called Hammerfell and it'll be in Sunset Isles. So the funny thing about Oblivion being called Oblivion, by the way, is that Morrowind is a province, Skyrim is a province, Hammerfell is a province, and then we have fucking Daggerfall is a province, and then we have fucking Oblivion, which technically is still a location in the world of Elder Scrolls. It's just
Oh, that's a good point. I never thought about that.
it's just not a province of the Empire.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's the never mind. Spoilers.
I guess we can move on to the last subject.
About time.
This is an Ubisoft Assassin's Creed rumor. And if this ends up being true, Ubisoft is so fucking stupid. Like there's no other better way to put it. So the rumor is that they're gonna go back to releasing too many games over a very short amount of time. So the rumor is 9 games over the next 6 years, which is fucking insane.
Well,
This is essentially the same type of crazy schedule they had. And they moved away from that because they were taking a less is more approach. So to have an aggressive release cycle, for it to not go good and be like, all right, less is more. And then to revert back to the aggressive release cycle is just fucking stupid.
my problem with it is that it's all a single franchise. Like they have other IPs that they're going to be making games for concurrently with the 9 Assassin's Creed games that they have planned for the next 6 years. And that's insane.
Yep.
So what was that? I think it was a set in China, maybe, but there was a side scroller-esque Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, like the Russian and the Indian one.
Yeah. Are they going to do more of those? Is that part of these 9 games? Because if it is, that makes more
So I don't
sense.
think much is known about these. I do have
Imagine three of the games are just 1 and 2, and then 3 or something.
Well, fun fact about that. So there are 9 games that we have like known. I guess these are still leaks or rumors.
Rumors,
so
right.
I've heard the tagline Jade thrown around a lot. Same with Hex. So Jade is supposed to be the next RPG game coming out, and then Hex is like some sort of like witch tie-in spin-off type game.
Ubisoft has done in the past good spin-offs. Think about like Far Cry's Blood Dragon or the Far Cry Instincts games that I love.
Yeah, but which is an Assassin's Creed though? I don't know.
I mean, it could be good.
It could be.
Don't knock it. I mean, I think witches are cool, but we've done that time period technically.
Yeah.
Or very close to it.
Which? True.
I don't know. They have lost, for me anyways, the Assassin's Creed franchise really got fucking derailed with how 3 went, and the fact that they changed how the twins went, and then the fact that they switched the whole idea from twins to now in the most recent one you have a dude and a girl, and you just switch between them like GTA 5. Like, give me a fucking co-op Assassin's Creed game already. Come on. Not the one we got. Like, give me a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just knowing what their plans had been, and then being excited for that, and then seeing what they actually released, just really fucking ruined the franchise for me. And then like fucking, what even the fuck is that kid's name? Miles? Was that even that kid's name? It was Miles.
Wait, Desmond.
Desmond. Yeah, Miles. Desmond Miles. Okay. They did him so fucking dirty.
They did. They built him up over the span of 4 games, technically.
It was 5, I think.
Yeah,
there's
5
3
games.
Ezio games. Yeah. I was super excited for the Mirror's Edge-esque Assassin's Creed in modern time, like running through a city. Like, that sounds cool. They could still do. Cool. They could still do a modern city. I wouldn't know how they would explain it, because Desmond's dead, and the whole gaining the powers of the assassin by being in the Animus kind of got fucking canned completely. None of the other Animus users, there's a ton of them now. So I think in the first game they explained it that not everyone can go into the Animus. They can only.
You have to share.
You have to share
DNA.
like DNA, yeah. And now it's like anyone can just go into the Animus, which is maybe why they don't actually develop the abilities or whatever. But I don't know. It just seems like such a. I don't know. Ubisoft's been putting.
Why introduce that plot point to then abandon it?
Well, that's the thing, because no one liked the Desmond parts. So because no one liked the Desmond parts, where they were setting it up for Desmond to be like the main hero assassin in like the modern time, everyone's like, Desmond's fucking stupid. I hate playing as Desmond. I hate the Desmond parts. And then like at the end of Assassin's Creed 2, they're like, why the fuck am I fighting these guys as Desmond? That's so stupid. And so like the consensus was basically like, everyone fucking hates Desmond. They don't want to play as Desmond. And Ubisoft was like, all right, no one fucking wants this. We're just going to scrap the entire idea. And I really wish they hadn't, because I think they had an amazing idea, and I think they would have done it right. And then them scrapping that and listening to like public demand literally was the downfall of when they started making dog shit.
Yep. They so my personal opinion on it has always been the historical shit very cool. Like definitely the bread and butter of the franchise. And then my biggest issue was the like supernatural precursor, like Roman gods. Like that's where I stopped really liking it. Or not
What?
Like it just wasn't my favorite aspect of the game. Like my favorite aspect was like playing a historical assassin.
What was the precursor Roman gods part?
What? It's the Isu. Like the whole Isu aspect. What? Have you not played the games?
What game did they introduce that in?
All of them. So you don't really like have to deal with them too much in 1, but in 2 you are literally talking to either Juno or Minerva, one of them. And then in 3 it's whichever one it wasn't.
Huh? I don't remember any of that. I remember there being Templars.
Holy shit, brother.
I remember you fucking being assassins, and then there's like a feather and a fucking apple of Eden or whatever.
Yeah, there's a whole like plot point of like they're talking to Desmond, who also at some point ends up talking to, I think, Ezio in one of obviously the Ezio games. Yeah, there's like a whole aspect of that, and I never really cared for that.
Well, so I remember when Ezio. So there's a part where Ezio gets the apple of Eden or whatever from Ezio, Altair, or whichever, and then they're talking to someone, and they're like, someone says something to him, and he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And they're like, "I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to someone else." And it's like, oh, they're talking to Desmond. Like that makes sense. That I don't remember them being like Roman gods or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I was just fucking.
Yeah, the Isu were what? I mean, their names were Juno, Minerva. Those are the only 2 I think that really ever talked to Desmond. Those are Roman gods. So.
Well, yeah, it's Zeus and fucking. Who'd you say it was?
Juno and Minerva, I
Oh,
think, are the only two
just
that
kidding.
talk to Desmond.
No, it says Juno, Minerva, and Jupiter. So yeah, Zeus. Right? Jupiter, Zeus. I don't know if I can actually remember. Gonna look at this. First appearances, I'm not seeing. Well, apparently they're in every game about, and there's different gods for each, like in Origins or whatever. There's Greek, Odyssey. I mean, there's Greek. There's Egyptian ones in Origins.
That makes sense.
Oh yeah, okay. So Minerva talks to Ezio in the second one. I honestly don't fucking remember that at all. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, when they started introducing that, that's when I kind of like started losing interest. But
Well,
like, it was a small aspect, so like I was like, whatever. Like, not my favorite aspect of the game, but whatever. But it kind of increases more and more with each game.
well, it's funny to think about the fact that when you look at it, Assassin's Creed wasn't even supposed to be a franchise.
No, it was literally a beta or a demo test for fucking
A tech test
Prince of
for the
Persia,
Prince of Persia engine. Yeah. Yep.
which is really funny.
Super funny. Dude, I wish Ubi's how many Ghost Recons and fucking Far Cries and
Too many.
Divisions are they making during the same time frame with all these Assassin's Creeds? How many
Too many,
studios
probably.
does Ubisoft actually have? 'Cause I'm pretty sure they only have 3.
Dude, yeah, I don't know. And to make fucking 9 games in 6 years, you are gonna be spread thin.
A single franchise. They have other IPs that they're definitely making at the same time. They're definitely
Yeah.
working on a Far Cry. They're definitely working on, I would assume they're working on Division 3. They're definitely working on a Ghost Recon, although the last one was kind of well, I mean, so if the quality of games they've been putting out lately is what we're going to be getting going forward, they might as well not bother. Because I mean, was Assassin's Creed Shadow, whatever the fuck, good? I've seen a
I
couple
think
people
it's doing
play
pretty
it,
well.
and it seems like it's doing well, but like, how many of that is just like Japanophiles or whatever you call them?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
So allegedly, so in 2024, the Ubisoft CEO confirmed multiple Assassin's Creed remakes are on the way.
Okay, well, that's probably what the 9 games is then, which is less work than making 9 new games.
So
But
according to this list, it's not though. Only one of the 9 is a remake.
well, does
So there's
remaster
Jade.
count?
No, like remake remaster.
Okay, so hell yeah.
So the rumored titles, and these are like the working titles. So like
Right.
this,
Well, it's like
this
they're,
is subject to change.
of course.
Jade, Invictus, Obsidian, Hex, Scarlet, Stardust, Emerald, RPG 3, and Remake 3. I don't know why those are 3, but
RPG 3? What the fuck does that mean? Yo, one of these is going to be like a fucking turn-based bullshit game.
well, no, I don't think. Well, I mean, well, maybe actually if they're gonna be fucking cranking out 9, but so like they refer to like Origins, Valhalla, and Odyssey, and technically Shadows as like RPG, whereas what's the one that came out before Shadows? The one where you're
There's so many Assassin's Creed games. I can name Call of Duty games. I can't name Assassin's Creed games.
anyways, that game is not an RPG. It's more like the old school play style.
Oh yeah. You're right. I don't remember what that one was called.
Yeah, I can't think of it right now either. But anyways, they're supposed to be supposedly kind of working on both of those at the same time. So there's going to be like RPG ones coming out, and there's going to be like the more classic play style.
Okay, well,
Mirage. There we go. That's
yeah.
what the fuck that was called. God, I could not think of it.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of wish they would just drop the fucking Assassin's Creed franchise completely and just fucking vault it. Make another one in like 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking sick of those games. There's never anything going on in one that's like, oh, this is a breath of fresh air. It's always just kind of like, I've played this. I mean, most of those Ubisoft games in general are like that. Like, all the Ghost Recon games recently have been like that. Like any of their open world games, like Far Cry 5 is like that. Like Far Cry 6 is like that. Like they had the formula in Far Cry 3 and like Assassin's Creed 2, and they're just like, hey, what if we only make games just like this?
Holy shit, brother. I just found a list that in depth explains how these games are supposed to be. All right, so Jade is the next game supposed to release and is supposed to be set in China.
Makes sense.
Invictus is the working title for an Assassin's Creed Fall Guys inspired game where players will complete. Sorry. No, it does say complete. Okay, that's not spelling or reading error. Complete in matches of 16 players. Obsidian is supposed to be the Black Flag remake, rebuilt on the new Anvil engine. So think like Oblivion's style. So like it's gonna be like a full-on remake.
Hex, but what's on the Anvil engine? Because I don't think they have anything amazing on that.
I think Anvil started with
Syndicate, apparently.
Okay, I was thinking the one after that.
No, apparently Anvil was in Black Flag also.
Oh, well, that's fucking confusing then.
It's also the engine they built Steep in and For Honor. Which means it's the same shitty engine they've been using for a decade.
So Hex, which was originally codenamed Neo, that's scheduled to release after Shadows support ends. Shadows is scheduled to have around 2 years of DLC support. Hex will have 1 year of DLC support. So Hex might be like the new Mirage, I guess, maybe.
Wait,
Scarlet
hold on. Did Skull and Bones ever drop?
I think so.
Oh, it did?
I think so. I don't know.
Oh, apparently it did. That's the most fucking anticipated fucking game that you didn't hear about releasing ever.
Yeah, because I think they didn't give it as much love or fucking anything that they should have. Like because that's Ubisoft's like pirate game or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's essentially Black Flag's pirate combat, and that's like legit it. Like you can't get off your boat, I don't think, unless they ended up adding that. But I think that was a big point of contention at first, was like you couldn't get off the boat. So it's like literally you're just driving around a boat.
So here's what I found on Google's AI. Shadows came out. Skull and Bones, right? Star Wars Outlaw, right? The next Ghost Recon game is called Project Over, and they're working on that. They're working on Far Cry 7, known as Project Blackbird, and it's, according to this, it's set to release this year, but that can't be accurate. They haven't even announced that. They're making a multiplayer Far Cry game, so it's going to be like a Call of Duty sort of Far Cry. Which, are they even supporting their current multiplayer game that they have out? What the fuck is that game called? Where it's like all the Ubisoft IPs in one game?
Probably not.
We played it. What is that called? Okay. Anyways.
No, they already announced that was already dead in the water.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I can't think what the fuck that's called.
Ubisoft shooter. The whole thing was that it wasn't gonna. Oh, X Defiant. Yeah. The game will be fully playable until June 3rd. Yeah. Okay, dude.
Yeah, it legit. I think that had like less than a year support.
Yeah. Well, so they had a bunch of opportunities where they could have released it, and they basically had the full game, because what we played in the alphas is what we got in the release in the full version. And if they had released it like maybe the first time they did the alpha, it would have done really well, I think, but they just didn't. The whole marketing campaign they were doing for that was, hey, we don't have skill-based matchmaking, and it's not Call of Duty. And
yeah,
they just fucking I don't know. They waited so long that they fucked themselves with that, which they've been fucking themselves a lot lately. So makes sense. Project Maverick. So yeah, multiplayer Far Cry game. So it says that this is also slated to release in 2025. I don't fucking believe that. I just don't fucking believe that. That was January 30th, 2024 when they said that. There's no shot. There's Invictus, like I said. There's a Splinter Cell remake apparently that's supposedly set to release in 2026. They have a brand new IP they're working on that's about World War II, and then they have the Anno 117 Pax Romana game that we did we talk about that? No, we didn't. But it's that's the Anno that might actually just come out. You know, the Anno games, but it's like a city building, whatever the fuck. Dude, and that's not even counting all the fucking Assassin's Creed games. Dude, what the fuck are they doing? Those kids need to calm down. I don't think they have as many studios to be making that many games. Like, if they had one studio for each of those games, cool. I don't think they do. I think they have I thought they only had 3 studios, because I thought there was Ubisoft in America, and then there was Ubisoft Montreal or whatever in Canada, and then I thought they had one in Europe somewhere in
they have a Shanghai studio too, I believe.
Oh, do they? I thought they had one in Denmark or something too. Copenhagen or something like that. Where is that? I'm gonna look it up. Ubisoft studios and locations. They have a lot more than I thought they did, but still not that many. Hello, where did that list go? I just had a list and then it just disappeared.
So
they have 20 studios.
God damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. But I mean, so Montreal's the biggest studio, and then they've got the LA studio, which is the one I was talking about. There's not an easy list to find these. Okay, when was the last time we had a Rayman game or Rabbids game? Or just, I mean, are they making a Just Dance too? What about Watch Dogs? What about The Division? This isn't even. Yeah,
I think Watch Dogs is dead.
They have brands, and Tom Clancy's is just a brand, which Tom Clancy's has Rainbow Six, which they're making a new Rainbow game. There's The Division, that's a Tom Clancy. There's Ghost Recon, that's Tom Clancy. They have so many Tom Clancy's. Where the fuck is there? There's not a list of hey, here's all the list of our studios. I can't find one on Wikipedia. I'm sure there's a list somewhere, but I don't know. There's a UK studios apparently, so they've got studios all over apparently, which is cool. I guess they have enough studios to actually do whatever. Okay, I found the list. It's on a map, and you have to click the actual parts of the map. So
I was gonna say, yeah, I just found that too.
They've got Brazil, and then in Canada they have Montreal, Chicoutimi. I don't fucking know how to say it. I'm sorry if I pronounce that wrong. Toronto, Winnipeg, Halifax, Quebec, and Sherbrooke. And then the USA, they have Cary, San Francisco, LA, and Atlanta. In Europe and the Middle East, they have Milan, Italy, Barcelona, Spain, and in France they have Annecy, Bordeaux, Lyon. I think it's pronounced Lyon, maybe. I don't actually know. Montpellier and Paris. Paris area, it says, by the way.
Paris area, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have Moscow in Russia, Belgrade in Serbia. I don't think that's how you say that. They have Malmo in Sweden. That's definitely not how you say that. Stockholm in Sweden. They have Helsinki in Finland. In Germany, they have Berlin, Dusseldorf, and Mainz. Romania, they have Bucharest and Craiova. Dude, I don't know how to say half this shit. They have studios in Ukraine, Kiev and Odessa. Hell yeah. They've got Sofia in Bulgaria. They've got Newcastle. Newcastle upon the Tyne River in the UK, as well as Guildford. And they have Abu Dhabi in the UAE. Why does it say Europe and Middle East and there's only one Middle Eastern country? Does Serbia count as Middle East? I don't think so. Does Romania or yeah, I don't think any of those. Maybe Romania count. I'm pretty sure that's still Europe though. I don't think any of these count as the Middle East except
you think
for.
Should it say Europe and UAE?
I guess, dude. I don't know why it's like the Middle East and they have one studio, because then they have Asia Pacific, which I think they could have just said Asia and put the Middle Eastern one in the Asia category.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
So they've got Mumbai and Pune. I don't know how to say that in India. Tokyo and Osaka in Japan. Seoul in Korea. Taiwan, which is it. So their Taiwan studio is called Taiwan, a branch of Ubisoft Hong Kong.
Sick.
Is Taiwan the country that China is like, hey, that's China, and the rest of the world is like, that's not China, bro? Is that country? Okay, so maybe that's why it's a branch of Ubisoft Hong Kong. They have one in Da Nang, Vietnam. They've got one in Sydney, Australia, which is apparently included in Asia Pacific. I mean, in the Pacific, I guess. They've got Singapore and They just have a Singapore studio. They have I'm not even going to try it. They have one in the Philippines. I'm not going to even try and pronounce that. And then in China, they've got Chengdu and Shanghai. So they've got a significant amount of studios. Although I think I read just a second ago that 3 months ago they closed a studio and laid off 185 employees or something.
Rip that studio.
Having that many studios makes it. I thought they only had like 3 studios, but maybe it's because I've only ever heard of 3 studios.
I did too.
So hearing that they have that many studios makes me a little less surprised that they are putting out those many games. But like, is it like a fucking? Because if they're developing those games concurrently, like, how are they doing that? Is it like a conveyor belt, like in a factory? Like,
yeah. So
the
this
studio in Shanghai does like
bit.
the art or something, and then then they send it to someone else, and they do like the, I don't know, the marketing or something, or like the next company does the voice acting. Like it seems.
It could be, or if the studio itself is big enough, maybe they do everything, and then for the ones that aren't big enough to do it, they like have like 2 or 3 studios working on it.
I don't know. I don't know how it's set up. I don't work there, but
because like usually I hear about the games coming out, and it's like Ubisoft Toronto.
Yeah. But so the fact that I still think it's crazy that the fact that they're putting 9 Assassin's Creed games out in the next 6 years, along with all those other games that I mentioned, like, and how many of those other games are like IPs are they making more of? I don't know. I think they are stretched too thin.
Probably.
Also, they have
so
more.
3 of these are remakes, and that's why
3
that's
are remakes. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's remake 3, because remake 3 doesn't have a title, but what was it? Obsidian is a remake, and it's supposed to be Black Flag, which remaking that first before 1 and 2 or 3 or Brotherhood is fucking weird.
If it's on the Anvil engine, it's because they don't have to move it to a new engine.
It's a new version of the Anvil engine.
Maybe it's just the easiest to port to the new engine then.
Maybe. Stardust is supposed to be another remake, and that's supposed to enter production following Obsidian's release.
Stardust. What would Stardust be? It'd have to either be 2 or I think that's the only thing. It would be 2.
I feel like
or one of the Ezio games.
Yeah.
Doing some random Ezio game like Brotherhood would be is that what that one was called?
Yeah, Brotherhood was the second Ezio game.
It would be really weird to do that.
Yeah, it would be weird to start with Brotherhood. Although I would be okay with that. Brotherhood was my favorite.
Imagine Stardust is like fucking Odyssey or something.
That would be so fucking dumb.
Hey guys, this game came out like 6 years ago, but we're releasing it again.
Yeah. I would prefer it be one,
Hey,
but I would settle for two.
One's
But
not
there's
a
still
full game.
remake. There's still remake 3 though. And so remake 3 is supposed to release approximately 1 year after RPG 3 releases. RPG 3 is supposed to release after Scarlet's 2 years of support. So remake 3 is probably that's probably the last game in the 6 years.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
remake 3 is about 6 years away, I would say.
They can't remake the first game. It's not a game. It's quite literally just there's not enough content there to justify that.
Depending on how much they charged for it. So I mean, it's online says main stories and extras is about 20 hours to complete. Completionist 30 to 31.
The first game?
But yeah.
There's no shot.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Main story is around 15 hours.
There's no shot that's 15 hours.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I beat that game in one day, and I had the fucking like 100% the next day. You're telling me I sat there and played fucking 25 hours on that game? There's no shot. I don't think I played it that long.
In 2 days, allegedly.
Those kids are lying. Maybe if you're not using a guide or something to fucking collect all the feathers, it would take you that long. Focusing on the main objectives is about 15 hours in length. Brother, there's no shot that it's 15 hours to beat the story.
I think there is a shot.
Well, look at the walkthrough. Hold on, I'm going to look at the mission length. The mission page is completely empty. Hell yeah. You look at the walkthrough.
Evidently, Brotherhood was also 15 hours.
Okay, so it says people who rushed the main story did it in 10 hours and 27 minutes. And a leisure take of the story is 23 hours and 27 minutes.
So, were you running around and hitting every like vantage point and stuff like that?
Yes. I was if there was something to collect that I saw, I would go collect it immediately, and I still think I finished the story in like 6 hours.
I don't think so, buddy.
I did it in a day. Like, I started the game up, and it wasn't in the morning either. I started the game up at like noon, and by 8 p.m. I had finished the story.
What the fuck is Assassin's Creed Pirates?
I don't know, but Assassin's Creed 1 was a really short game. So I finished it, I was like, God damn, that game was short as shit. There was nothing to do. And then the next day I was like, well, I guess since there's nothing to do, I better go find something to do. Let me run around and collect all the fucking feathers.
Well, it sounds like you need to contact Guinness. Because I think you might have set the quickest beat time for that.
Probably not. It says the fastest completion of the game is 6 hours, and the slowest completion on PC is 18 hours. So if the fastest time is 6 hours, I totally believe that I beat like the story and was doing all that shit in like 8 hours. I totally believe that, because like there was no like dead space of me just being like, oh, I don't know what to do next. Like when I played that, I didn't really want to play it. But my friend was like, oh, the story's really good. So I was like, all right. And so I just fucking sat down. I was like, I'm just going to beat the fucking game. And I sat down and just like I didn't skip any cutscenes or dialogue or anything, but like I would just go straight to the objective and do the objective. And then I would just go to the next objective and do that. And it pissed me off because there's so many parts where he had to stop and fucking walk.
Well, I wonder if they would like touch up anything because the combat, I mean, with the RPG games, the combat's like way different, but like the combat just from like 1 to 2 was way different. Like the combat in 1 was kind of difficult if your timing was not good.
Wouldn't know.
So I wonder if they would touch up that.
I assassinated like everyone in 1, so I wouldn't know that the combat was bad.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, indeed. I don't even remember there was like a pair. You would like. I think the strat was like you would just parry them, and then after you parry, you could just whack them a couple times and kill them.
Yeah.
And that was how you fought everyone. And I'm pretty sure that I like won every sword fight like super quick because I would just fucking parry and then murder them. I liked 2 because you could throw the fucking smoke bombs and just kill everyone while they're coughing with the hidden blade.
Yeah. And the poison dart.
Shit, that was the. I actually have a couple we don't need to talk about that. I have a couple montages of Assassin's Creed 2. Yeah, exactly. At the same time.
Exactly.
Let's call it.
True, let's call it. Episode 6. Between a rock and a bald spot.